Welcome to Journey Through the Gate, your paranormal portal podcast, as we delve into the many questions and wonders brought on by this supernatural experience. What's on the other side of the gate? Let's find out together.
Hello, gatekeepers. How y'all doing tonight? All my dear sweet friends here in this wonderful chat. Can you guys hear me 5-5? Are we good? Listen, be kind. Thank you so much for saying how much you enjoyed the show last night. Lindsay, Salvador, everybody else. That was with Lynn Monet is her books. And now I'm not going to lie and say I've read them all. That's not the thing. I've talked with her and I've listened to the interviews, and I won't tell you I read it if I didn't. But what I have seen is absolutely fantastic. This is just so glittery. I look like gosh, we got to get this fixed. But that was like an appetizer sampler. I know we were all over the place last night, but we wanted to touch a lot of different bases, from being able to see loved ones coming to help others cross to the other side, being able to communicate with ghosts and whether or not they want to go once they find out what's going on. How does she see them? How does others see them, especially when they're getting close, to the veil on the other side, whether it be an NDE or a lingering sickness that kind of gives them that time. All these interesting things, as well as the dimensions and what happens in the afterlife, and how we have jobs, and how we go through all the things that we were talking about last night. So it really was a big sampling of what's to come. So as we have Lynn back on, and she will be back on, she is absolutely fantastic. Such a beautiful soul, wonderful person, very knowledgeable. We're going to take it and do like larger chunks of those subjects, if that makes sense. I didn't want you to think I was like rushing her through. 2 hours, that's not nearly enough. So it's going to be multiple times. So I hope you all enjoyed that. She's extremely knowledgeable, and it's great when you're talking to someone like that and things that you believe true, or those little pieces like, man, I knew it, and you get that validated again. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like that validation. And that's kind of the level we're at. And, you gatekeepers that are at that level where we don't really have it all figured out, but we've got a pretty darn good idea that it's much more wonderful than we ever could think, and much more simple than we've been making it, really. You know what I mean? So once you get to that level, that's what I mean by gatekeepers and enjoying the journey, because you look at the journey different. And gatekeepers, and along the way, other people on their journey, will come in your life in and out, and, maybe just once, like the 5 people you meet in heaven, just that one time, but something that you say, or you guide them, or, drop a knowledge, can make all the difference in that person's life. And that's what it's like to be a gatekeeper. You're not just keeping out all these wild bots and these crazy people that all these bots that are trying to get you to porn or cussing or whatever they're doing to try to ruin the chat. You're not just blocking them, you're guiding people in their journey. And I think that's what it's all about. When you get to a certain point where you have a little bit of knowledge about something, or a great wisdom about something you've been through, I think it's part of our duty to share that. Even if they're not ready to hear it, you plant the seed, right? So hello to everybody in here. Be kind. Ted Branson, Blue Crossroads, Donnie, thank you guys so much for being great mods last night. Nicole, welcome in. Vixen Doe. If you have not hit the like, please do. I'm going to get Steve in here, and I believe we have a wonderful little surprise guest here too, also both very knowledgeable and everything. So let's bring this old rattlesnake in here. This whole thing is welcome home, Steve. So when he comes in, everybody scream it real loud like a surprise party. Welcome home, Steve. Can you do that and throw some bacon at him and some hearts? What do you think? Can we do that? I'm sure we can. Here we go. 1. He doesn't know we're here, so we're going to surprise him. 1, 2, 3. Welcome home, Steve!
Hey, I didn't know there was a party here for me.
Surprise!
Who are all these people?
Isn't that wonderful? We were hiding behind the couch all day just to
Somebody
jump
just said
out.
something. It's chocolate covered bacon.
Chocolate covered bacon. Oh my goodness, that's just like the best of both worlds. Here we
We
go.
went up to Durango today, and I got that at a little. Actually,
There you
that was
go.
a while ago. There's a place up there that has honey, live bees and honey, and I stopped there to get some local honey, and they had chocolate covered bacon. So this is for you, Cisco, and I'm going to be a friend and eat it for you.
Oh, please do. Let me know how good it is.
Actually,
You know-
we'll send you your box. We are going to
We're gonna
send
put
you
some in
a
it.
little gift pack
Aw.
from Honeyville in Durango, Colorado. It is some of the best honey. Let me know what your
Oh.
favorite flavors are. Lemon, cinnamon. They have whipped honey.
Cinnamon.
It is so good. They have boysenberry,
Choke
elderberry, choke cherry.
Elderberry, cinnamon, and vanilla. If they have, you know what? Honey flavored honey is great with me. You know, honey is so good and so good for you. I don't know. Does everybody know that if you eat local grown honey that's within like 25 miles where you live, it actually helps you beat off a lot of the viruses and stuff in your area. It's huge on boosting your immune system. So don't kill the bees.
I got a jar full of it, so I'm good to go.
Wonderful.
I
Well-
feed the bees. I feed the honeybees.
Yeah.
They eat on my lavender and they eat on
Yeah.
my salvia.
Mm,
They love it.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. They're all saying hi. Can you guys see the chat?
Hi
Yeah,
guys.
we
Hi
can.
Jamie.
Hey, there's
All right,
Jamie.
great.
Bartley.
Hi, Be Kind,
Be kind.
Nicole,
Glenn Dannison's here.
Buffalo Bill.
Glenn says plain honey for him. This is
We're-
great. You
we
eat
are
that chocolate covered bacon and you get the gas too. So thanks,
We
buddy.
are going to get some extra and probably do a giveaway on 13 of some of this honey. So
Oh, that's
it is
wonderful.
amazing.
That's
Amazing.
wonderful. That's wonderful. And yeah, it does heal cuts too. And you know, oddly enough, spider webs, Native American use a lot of spider webs to stop bleeding and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things. You know, the earth and the nature is so full of wonderment and surprises, and we've gotten so fast, we've forgotten a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's back. It's time that pendulum swinging back, though. I think where people are starting to pay attention to things like that. Going back to a lot of herbal and a lot of old wives' tale cures. Yep,
The validity there, and a lot of your modern medicines came out of the herbal remedies. And
100%.
it's what, birch bark. And there's all kinds of herbs.
Opiates made from opium,
Yeah,
from the poppies.
Right. And valerian root is your basis for Valium. So, now Valium doesn't smell as bad as valerian root, but cats love it. They'll absolutely go crazy over it, and it'll knock you out. So will skullcap. It'll calm your nerves. This is what they drank in England with the bombing. That's where it comes from. Be calm and drink tea. It was valerian root tea because it
Here at
calmed you.
Steve's house, he's got a whole little garden
herb
of
garden over here.
herbs.
That's great.
He has catnip, lemon mint, pineapple mint, spearmint, peppermint, and then a bunch of Italian herbs over here. And
That's
all of
awesome.
that's staying with him when we leave. I planted all this stuff for him over the summer. He's
Oh,
got a
fantastic.
beautiful little yard out here. So him and Mulder are going to be living it up.
He's going to be asking us how to use all that stuff. And so go out in the garden, pull that mullein, and put it on your swollen ankle, make a poultice.
Salvia.
Yeah, I'm telling
I
you,
don't
stuff
even know
works.
how to use that.
Yeah.
Hey.
Which one? Salvia?
Salvia.
It depends on what kind it is. There's so many in the family, so certain ones you use differently. Like there's different kind of lavenders depending on what you want. And if it's that French lavender and English lavender,
That's
it
what
really
I have.
has more of that base oil in it to calm and
Okay.
and for migraines and stuff like that. You can make an oil, and it's so simple to make an oil or a tincture.
I will take a picture of it and send it to you, and you can tell me what kind it is because
Sure.
it just said salvia on it, so I don't know.
It's wonderful. You can test it in a lot of different ways.
should
There's a
learn
wonderful
stuff.
doctor I'm going to get on here.
Our
Well,
gardener to take care of all these plants. She's got rose bushes. She's got
oh
wisteria.
my gosh, yeah.
Got cacti.
Lilac.
There's a cacti garden
Strawberries,
out front.
tomatoes. He's got a purple magnolia, a purple one. It is so pretty. It
Oh
smells
gosh, that's so
so
pretty. That's really pretty. Yeah, and I mean
good.
that's the thing. Most of the time you could grow what you need right there. I mean, I kept telling everybody at work they got poison ivy, and I said, well, right next to poison ivy grows the cure for it. That's the way it's set up. If there's rattlesnakes in the area, you're going to have something that's going to help that. If it's and this is the way nature was set up. We've messed it all up, but most of the wild stuff still knows what to do.
Hi,
You know.
Donnie. How are you?
AJK, welcome in, welcome in.
Jeanette.
Jeanette, how
Hi.
you doing?
Jeanette Sandy,
Donnie.
little brown elf. And if you didn't see us the other night on 13 past midnight, I'm getting Sandy's car too. So I'm not only going to have a nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath house.
I did see that.
Got a red Mustang convertible. So
Fantastic. You and your little red convertible, man. It's amazing. I couldn't be more happier for you.
He's gonna be zipping around town in style
Yeah.
Mulder's going to sit in the passenger seat
Can you
there.
just see him?
in his
the wind.
Tiffany collar.
Yeah, he gave him a Tiffany collar.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Mulder drastically changed his predicament, didn't he? I'm telling you what. Listen, that's the thing. You try to be happy wherever you're planted. You try to bloom where you're planted, right? But sometimes the environment just really stifles you, and
I'm
you
too
grow
much
out of it.
Weed for that to have worked where I was before, but I like it here. I actually saw some tumbleweeds today. She pointed
Oh
them out to me.
wow.
I'm only used to the dried ones when they're blowing along. She showed me what they look like before they go to seed and come out of the ground.
I'm
So
sure much better. So
I'm gonna
what
get
have you guys been doing?
yard. Said I'll have a yard full of them if I do that.
As you've been coming across, I've got a bit of a delay, so if I step on you, forgive me ahead of time. But
And yes,
as you were driving, I know you guys really powered through this, but as in all of the driving, what's been the stories? I mean, I know you told us about going to the bridge with Kurt Cobain. That was very profound for you guys. I mean, you felt it.
I felt his spirit down there. I'm still working on that video. That'll be on 13 past midnight. That's going to be something else.
Hmm.
I'm about
And
halfway through it, so it's within a week or so it should be up.
are you guys finding anything else, like little stories within towns? Like, are you pulling over? Now you'll have time where maybe you can pull over, say, is there any legends in the area?
We've
You
asked
know,
a few people that, and that's something we want to start doing regularly.
right,
We asked some people that looked like they had some stories, and they kind of waffled, like, well, yeah, but I don't know. So
right.
we're going to try that, just doing some person on the street interview.
That would be great. That would be great because, man, if you can get that, I mean, not everybody's going to want to be on camera. Not everybody's going to want to give their name, but if you could just get the story
A lot of
in their
places
voice.
that we're going to visit now. Today, she just drove me by there, but the Aztec ruins are literally
Oh,
just right up the road,
And
uh-huh.
salmon.
and the salmon
Salmon
ruins,
ruins.
and there's a lot of little ghost towns and things out
Mesa
here.
bird ruins.
Like I said, today we went up to Durango, Colorado. There's a couple of haunted hotels there that we're going to go check out soon.
It's wonderful.
Spend the night in each one of them and see if we experience anything. They accept it and talk about it. They even have diaries in the room so
Oh,
that you
nice.
can write down what you experience. So I thought we would go live and read entries from the diary
Oh,
about what
wonderful.
we have
That's a
experienced.
great idea. That's a great idea. And I think any bed and breakfast that has something like that should have something
Got
along
electric
those lines.
too.
Fly swatters, they've got, look at what they're doing. This is amazing. You know what I mean? It's wonderful to see y'all living it up. A lot of people saying good wishes here to you guys. I mean, Jeanette was saying that she just let the adventures begin, and
This is a whole big new.
Mustang Sally.
And I was telling Sandy today for the first time in years anyway, I feel like I'm alive. And she's noticed the difference in me too. I haven't shut up since I've been here.
It's exciting, but your energy is through the roof. It's one.
When
That's
we
what happened to
travel,
me last night.
yeah, the energy is just amazing. It's off the hook.
Yep.
And before, when we traveled, it was like that when we traveled. But when that started winding down, I knew I was going back into hell. And I'd be depressed for a few days and didn't want to do anything, didn't want to leave the house, or which I didn't anyway. But
Honey, environment's everything. I mean, in a lot of ways. That's what I was saying to you this morning. It's like you had your own, because you had people around you reaching out. This chat and the people in 13 past midnight, missing persons mystery, and all the stories and all the wonderful people you were with, that was your guiding light. But when
yeah,
you're in a place like that, that's just it can really grate on you. But you had a way out, a light coming in, with
Sandy
all these people.
rescued me. Sandy
Yeah,
saved my life. I'm indebted to her now forever.
but it's
Highlight Be Kind's comment there if you can.
sure, absolutely. I just wanted to have Kevin look into something called Sovereign Silver. You can get it. If you're not allergic to sterling silver, you shouldn't be allergic to this. It's perfectly safe. And try that on the hives. I mean, it works on poison ivy, skin abrasions. You can take it internally. Read it up on
I've
the
used
red side.
a lot of things. It's good stuff.
Yeah, look it up on the website. It saved me more than once, and Brian Bowden can attest to it too. There's so many people that know me. Ask them; they'll tell you. So it was Be Kind. Did I lose it there? Which one was it, honey? Did you say Vixen?
Be Kind. So
Okay.
Steve Sandy. Maybe I can come up when you all go to Chaco Canyon. It's the one
Oh, okay.
above that one, right above AJK's last one.
Got it. Here we go. I'm sorry, it moves so fast sometimes. There
Yeah,
you go.
it's funny because you mentioned that a couple of weeks ago before I ever revealed that I was moving.
Right.
That's the
I
name of
remember
the
that.
street that I live on, and Chaco Canyon is literally about a half an hour down the road. So absolutely, that's in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But I almost flipped out. You're on.
Don't drink that alcohol, Ted. Go ahead.
Been on 13 Bass. It was on one of yours.
Mm-hmm.
I was on with you and Donnie, and we were talking about Amityville Horror.
Right.
About that in the chat. I'm like, that's a sign right there. That's the street I'm going to be living on, and the place is right down the road. And I got a lot of signs like that. One of the weirdest things that happened when we were coming in, we were in Colorado.
Cortez.
Just about to pass into New Mexico, and it's probably one of the weirdest rainbows I've ever seen.
That was beautiful.
On 13 past midnight.
Mm-hmm. It was beautiful. It was definitely a sign. I mean, that's what we were saying last night. Don't talk yourself out of it. It was a sign, and it was for you guys, and it was beautiful. And it might have been a good sign for 50 other people,
Double rainbow.
Yep.
Rainbow to that's, I think, east. Is that east over there, Sandy?
Yep.
I still haven't learned my directions here. I think
was
that's north. So
Yep, that's north, east, west, south.
Are you talking about now listen, this Sovereign Silver does not turn you blue. It's a hydrosol. So if you're thinking back in the old times when people gave a colloidal silver that they made in their basement, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You just got to know what you're doing. It still has the oxidation in it, which you basically tarnish. You kind of turn blue. And that's what happened to Jeff Daniels' character in Five People You Meet in Heaven. He was blue, and he was worked in a freak show in the circus because of it. So that doesn't do that anymore. It doesn't do it anymore.
I've seen pictures of people that look.
If so, I'd be bluer than a Smurf.
There was a guy with a beard, and he had turned blue. He looked like Papa Smurf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And that's the blue people on the mountain too.
And he had the levels a lot higher
Mm-hmm.
than they were supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
It has to go somewhere, and that comes out in your skin. That's like you could eat enough carrots to turn yourself orange from the carotene.
But gosh, this stuff, if I was going to turn blue, I've been taking it about 30 years now. I must have drank half a gallon of it last week. I mean, just trying to get rid of this. Listen, man, that stuff hit me hard, and it would not go away. Ask anybody. It's like you think it's gone, and then it comes back. So if you don't get rest, you're trying to go to work, and you're not really trying to stay in front of that train, which is a very hard job. I mean, it made me hit the floor, and I'm a tough old broad.
Yeah,
I just had to double everything.
How strange that is. And it was, I told Sandy, I said, I was in Cisco's channel last night, and in the chat, the name Chaco came up. And there's nobody.
It doesn't surprise me, Steve.
Any kind of, I knew, and Sandy knew, of course, and I think I told you, Cisco, but.
Yep, but I would never remember the name. I mean, that was all organic, and it was a sign, and everything's working out, and it's just this chat is so in tune with everybody too. We've got a lot of very talented people here.
I'm saying your name wrong, right? He's saying, have you heard about the Green Children? Yeah, Sandy wrote a script about that. It's on Missing Persons and Mysteries, the Green Children of Woolpit, and that's in our strange appearances, where people just suddenly appeared. These two green children just suddenly appeared in this place, and they lost their green over time. The little boy, they baptized him, and he died, so that might give you a clue where they were from.
There was a family that was blue also. I think it was in Kentucky mountains or something like that, but it was the colloidal silver. But I'll tell you what, they survived the what was it, not the Spanish flu, but something else, some big epidemic that went out there. But Yeah, most of the stuff is. And thanks, Uncommon Belief. He's dropping my PayPal here. Thank you guys so much for the donations that you send over there, the
Yeah, we
super
took care of
chats,
this show here.
everything.
It's
Thank
all
you.
this out of her own pocket. She's monetized, but I'm telling you what, it don't amount to much. So anything goes a long way toward keeping her on the air.
Thank you.
Do you have super chats, super stickers? I can't see
Yep.
the regular chat.
Yep, I do. I have super chat, super sticker, so the $ at the bottom,
Click on
PayPal.
that, give till it feels good.
Right, most of it comes there, and we've got the T Public.
I'm living proof of that. I told Cisco this morning in a message, my harvest has come in. I've sown seeds, and this is my harvest. I'm reaping my harvest here.
Honey, you kept it honest. You kept the light. You kept the love. You did it because you wanted to do it for all the right reasons. You know what I mean? And
Even in the situation when I was in, when I would get jumped over nothing or whatever, I would go outside and pray for that person.
Yep.
You know, instead of getting mad, instead of getting bitter, I didn't sink down to their level. I rose above and stayed above it.
That's what you got to do, man.
Almost killed me. But, you know, sometimes you persevere and then you get your reward. You just got to stick with it. And
it's so true.
I'm the happiest I've ever been, and in all respects. And this is the first place that I felt at home since my parents died in 2000.
Kevin, you just rock on, sweetie. But it doesn't hurt to get advice from people that been through a lot of stuff too. I mean, that stuff really saved my life more than once.
Collagen on that scar tissue, it'll help that too.
Yep. And here's the T Public. Now, I think that to the end of this week, it's 35% off, and so check that out. Maybe get a T-shirt or get one of those canvas bags. I've got 2 of those canvas bags. They're really made well, and the cups are great. Steve's got cups. He's probably not unpacked it yet, but we've got all the new Steve stuff over there.
And I've got some personal merch coming out on. I'm doing a band camp. There's nothing up there yet, but people have been asking me for spoken word stuff that doesn't fit on either of the channels.
That's a good idea.
Some of my great uncle Frank R. Stockton stories. I'll have an album of that coming out soon on Bandcamp. Got some other fun stuff over there. I'm actually going to read the phone book. It's Connecticut, Westport, I think, Connecticut phone book from 1930 something.
Probably get 1 million views, man.
People said, I'd listen to you read it. I'm going to read it, but I'm going to read the whole thing because there's some funny stuff in there. A lot of these younger people have never even seen a dial phone, and it has all the instructions in the phone book. Like,
oh gosh, yeah.
52547. Put your finger in the 5. Turn it to the stop.
Yeah.
Remove your finger. Let the dial proceed. And it has all these crazy instructions on how to dial a phone.
Worldwide Ghosts, welcome.
Worldwide Ghosts, welcome, sweetie. Come on in.
Sandy's at war over here with the flies.
With the flies.
Feeds them to the ants. The ants actually show up and wait for the flies.
Circle of life. We were killing spiders in here last night. About lost my
shit. The heads
shit.
off of them. They cut the wings off of them. They cut the legs off of them. And if it's too big for the little ants to carry, they disappear, and then the big ant comes and carries it back. So they're cohabitating with.
There's a whole stack of ants over here right now.
Aunt Edna, hi, sweetheart.
Here's Aunt Edna. How you doing?
If you didn't see last night's show, Aunt Edna, you got to watch it. Lynn Monet's right up our alley, honey. She's so much validation there. Make sure you catch it if you get a chance. But yeah, and guys, I want to have her on with you too, Steve, because the stuff about Bigfoot and the portals and interdimensional stuff.
I came in and said hi last night, and then to leave. I'm still in the middle of unpacking, setting up one of my studios here. I'm actually going to have a couple different studios here.
That's wonderful.
He's got 4 bedrooms if he wants to use them at the 4th one, or it could be like it's almost like a separate apartment from the house. So it's like a huge office area. There's a utility room, a loft, and then the laundry room is in there. But that office area is huge.
It's really
That's
nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, I could live in that. It's bigger than the room I used to live in Oregon. Just
Wow.
that one office. I'm going to have a couple different studios for different purposes. Going to have a music room where I can set up all my synthesizers and stuff.
That's great because you do good music too.
I'm going to put a little cabin out here in the backyard. That's going to be my writer's retreat. There's not going to be anything in there but something to write with. No distractions, no internet.
Right. That's awesome. Because it's hard. People don't understand it. When you're on a writing roll and you've got to write something, like sometimes when I'm doing that, like with Cabin 22, It
my
was like
favorite
3 months.
with.
Yeah.
She knows. She knows what
Yeah.
it's like.
And you're on a roll and then something happens to change it. And it might take months to get that back, especially if the characters are talking to you like they were, And I'm thinking, I'd hate to do it, but you think one thing or another. I was just thinking it today because I wanted to send it to Lynn, so her and her daughter, she got a 13-year-old daughter, and I said, you guys would love listening to the Cabin 22 series
Yeah.
together, driving in the car or whatever.
If you
And I said,
haven't listened to it, I can't recommend it enough. It's on this channel.
Cabin 22 is amazing.
thank you,
Cisco,
thank
we
you.
still got to make a book out of that. I
Amazing.
will
We do.
help you get that published.
Now
And
you
there's-
can. You can help me more now.
Too.
Yeah, because I got to take all that and put it back into thing. But the thing about it is, I wanted to get her thoughts on it because we did that. I did that with the Bigfoot coming in and out of portals and things like that, and put all that in there. So I'd love to get her impressions on it. And I thought about Halloween's coming, and there's so many new people in here now. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers, guys. So if you could share this out, if you haven't subscribed, please hit it. Get us up there.
Neighbors, have them all subscribed.
Thank you, Vixen Doe.
Cabin 22 is one of the most talented, amazing stories that I have watched on YouTube.
Thanks so much.
I still think that was
Amazing.
automatic writing.
Hi, sweetie. Hi, Mulder. He's so happy now. Look at him.
He loves the heat. He's
Yeah.
from the desert originally. He was from somewhere
Happy baby.
high desert in California. They found him running the streets and getting in the garbage.
Oh, bless him.
Caught him, brought him to Oregon. Pixie Project. I adopted him 7 years ago in June. And they thought he was about a year old. He's about 8. He's getting on up there. But he was out here laying in the sun just like I. He's out here helping Sandy kill flies.
Just loving it up, loving it
He's
up.
been like laying in the sun, just sunning himself, running around, chasing
That's awesome.
cats,
It's awesome.
eating flies.
I couldn't be more happy for him. But I was thinking in Halloween, I'm thinking why not do it like just a classic thing, like they play Christmas Carol every Christmas or, Sleepy Hollow every Halloween. I think I'm going to do it 6 consecutive nights for anybody who hadn't listened to it. It's fun to listen together, and it's fun to, see what other people feel about it, or did they catch? Oh, thank you so much, Barbie, for that super sticker. Thank you so
There's
much.
one you see.
Thank you, Barbie.
We appreciate you.
Open
Thank
up
you,
the
sweetie.
pocketbooks, folks. Let's take care.
Thank you. So I don't know. Would you guys be interested in listening to that live again together, right around the week of Halloween, and we'll end it right like the day before? I think it'd be great.
We're doing the 31
Yes.
nights of Halloween.
Right.
So we can segue into that. We can set it up to where our stream will connect to yours.
Right.
So that when we're done, everybody can follow over to your channel.
Oh, that would be super. I think it would really cool to do that as a, like as a anniversary thing every year, because you can actually, if you can get the young ones to listen to it too, it puts in their mind that everybody has a special talent. Everybody has a special purpose. Everybody
There's
has
so
that
many
intuition.
lessons in there. There's greed. There's so many different things. I'm drawing a blank now, but there's
Well,
a
it's
lot.
like being abusive
It's
to
not
your
moralistic.
kids.
It's not preachy. It doesn't teach
Right.
down
No.
or talk down to you. It teaches you lessons through real life experiences if what can happen.
Everybody's saying yes. And sweetie, I thought it would be really cool too, because the people that have heard it before can kind of guide to others. And I think it'd be great if you could pull your kids in, because it's not, it does get, you got dogman attacks and this and that, and there's some scary
It's got
stuff.
everything,
But it's not,
including the kitchen sink.
including the
It's got
kitchen sink.
ghosts, it's got Dogman. It's got Bigfoot. It's got
Oh, thank you.
demon children. It's got
Thanks,
a
Nicole.
rat similar to Ben.
Mhm.
It's got moonshiners, hillbillies, a dog that's like basically stole the whole show.
Absolute rage. Oh, God, he's my favorite. Yeah.
Listen to it now and then listen to it again in October.
I think it'll be fun. I really loved listening to it last time. Last time we did it with a week in between each one, but I think this one I'm going to do 6 consecutive nights. We all gather together, make our caramel bacon popcorn and our apple cider moonshine if you want to, and just kick back and enjoy, Mrs. McGee and everybody else, because there's so many lessons in that. And then we'll definitely get it in print. I'm still going to give it to Steve, but something kept saying, wait, Steve, wait. You know,
Yeah.
and wait till the right time, and I'm feeling like that's coming. You know what I mean? You'll
I
have a
said
little
to
more
you
time.
today, we're on the cusp of something here. Something really, really big is
Uh
about to
huh.
happen for
Right.
all of us. So
Yep. It's true,
hang
and
on. It'll
everybody
be a
here is
wild
part
ride.
of it.
Yeah.
Everybody here is part of it because it's all that light coming together that makes it so bright and draws other ones in, and everything else. I mean, we're really growing. I mean, we lose some people and we gain some people, and it goes back and forth. But man, I'll tell you, those that are supposed to be here are here at that time, at that moment, and it's just been a wonderful experience, and I would absolutely love it. That would give me something to look forward to this Halloween. I've got my hotel room in Gettysburg for the bash. So many of you listening have told me you're going. I don't want to call out anybody that doesn't want people to know, but if you want people to know and you're going, pop it up in here in the chat if you like. We're going to do the car tour, but we're going to do Mark Nesbitt's paranormal ghost tour where you could go and stop and it'll tell you the story. Yeah, and that's wonderful. That's something new that Mark got out last year. He's really been
We're
working
not
hard
going to
on
be
that.
able to make it this year, but very soon.
Maybe
Sandy
next year.
and
Maybe
show up.
next year, because it's really growing. It's really growing, and people are asking me, "Where are you going to be? What are you going to do?" I don't know, because when I get there, I just go, and then the spirits, my spirit guides, their spirit guides, whatever, I wind up in a spot where I'm actually with somebody who's almost ready to listen to crossover. So if I can go out there and cross over a couple more soldiers, it would just make my heart sing. I mean, it sounds all 53,000 past there. You can't imagine how many ghosts are still wandering. And if I can, if I have to go back every year and get 5, 10 at a time, that's what I'm going to do until I can't do it no more.
You know, I
And then I
gotta
got to
ask,
teach somebody else.
have you ever had anyone follow you home?
Huh?
Have you
Not
ever
that
had
I know of. I have had them come back in dreams to thank me. I haven't had anybody follow me home. Now, Mario did that one time when he bought that rifle from World War II. I told you that story. I felt that thing coming down the street. And I mean, when he came in the door, imagine being Mario. God bless him for what he puts up with. I swear to God. But he comes in the door and he's all excited to show me something. I got sage already in my hand. Whatever it is, don't bring it in this house. I mean, it was one of those. But yeah, that caused some residual issues. But that's just like we warn people, if you get something from a thrift store or something like that. If you have any abilities at all,
Sandy
just
gave me a smudge stick today. I'm going to smudge all my stuff just to make sure there's not anything from that other place attached to it. I mean, it's my stuff, but still,
right.
things can attach to a surprising number of things.
Well, look
My
at that.
parents were antique dealers
What
when I
is
was
it
a kid,
about these
and
things?
they would bring stuff home
Yeah.
sometimes. I couldn't wait for them to get, even if it was out in the garage, I couldn't wait for them to take it to the antique shop because I could pick up on it.
Stuff
And
was
feel
picking up.
stuff that did not feel right at all.
Right. Oh gosh, yeah. And I wonder if I don't think it's what the thing is made out of, but let's consider that a moment, because it seems a lot of the things like wood,
Wood,
metal,
just because it's so porous,
right.
and wood has a memory anyway.
I
They
can't
come
remember, Donnie.
from wood's trees, and
Mm.
if you look at guitars and things like that,
Hmm.
I think some of these luthiers, they may not even realize it, but when they're making a guitar, part of their spirit goes into that
Yes.
instrument. I've picked up guitars
Mm-hmm.
that I could feel something. I'll never forget. I was in a pawn shop or a music store or something one time back in the '80s. I picked up a Les Paul, and that thing was magic. And I
Just
started playing it, and
resonated.
notes were just spilling out of my fingers. And my friend looked at me and he said, "How come you don't play like that all the time?" And I'm like, "I didn't know I can." And it's at that time it was like $700-800. I couldn't afford it. It was a used one, but I think if I kept that guitar, I'd be Eddie Van Halen or something by now, because there was a magic to it. I've had other instruments like that, and then I've had ones that belonged to other people that didn't seem to like me. Like I've had guitars that had a not good feeling about them. Like, yeah, I'm going to
Right.
sell this when I trade it in. It's the wood and what's in the ground where the tree grew. The person that made it put it together. Sometimes it's a multiple process. There's different carvers and artisans and craft persons that go into putting any kind of musical instruments together.
I think you're right.
Use old violins like the Stradivarius and some of those that are worth $1 million or more. I believe that man's soul was in those things, and that's why they're.
And furniture too. I mean, like somebody that works on wood furniture, anything artisan like that you do put some of your part, into it. That's very native too, because I can remember going to a intuitive class. I can't remember what it was, but we were doing psychometry.
Hey,
and
Amy.
This one guy touched this. It basically was a silver and turquoise ring, and it was made on the Navajo reservation, probably not far from you. And
right
that's the first thing the guy picked up. That is the first thing the guy picked up. He says, I see a man, he's Native American, and he was telling me what he was thinking. And I'm thinking, my God, he's picking up on the artist that made the ring first. And then he picked up the rest. It was amazing. And Jeanette, you're absolutely right. Donnie, thank you so much. He's saying the voice acting alone is worth the price. I'll tell you right now, I don't know where those voices, half of them, came from.
I've thought about that now that I'm out here. I told Sandy yesterday I need some jewelry that's silver and turquoise. They're just
Silver and turquoise, little onyx, maybe.
Yeah, he's got a shop here in town called Benally's Hogan, and he has a lot of Native American arts and crafts and jewelry,
Right.
Smudge sticks, ceremonial items.
Yeah. Just let it pick you.
Check that out. Yeah.
Put your hand over it, let it pick you, because it'll call out to you. Once I spoke to an elder and I said, why? I've never been drawn to garnet. January is my birthstone, and I never really liked it. I was never really did anything for me. Diamonds, all that stuff, nothing. Onyx, hematite, different things like that. Malachite and carnelian. They just spoke to me. And the elder told me, well, I'll tell you why. That's your Native American birthstone. That's where your DNA and your memory resonates. You know what I mean?
Good to see you.
Yeah. And Kevin says he'd love to go to Gettysburg. I'll tell you what. One of the reasons I pulled up that other conversation about living in between, cemeteries and battlefields. The thing is listen, I'm in New Jersey. And when I'm driving, do you have any idea how many Revolutionary War battlefields and Native American battlegrounds and massacres and everything that I drive past to go to Gettysburg?
It's like we were talking about with Amityville. It was all through that area.
Yeah.
Even before the white settlers came in, the natives battled with each other. The different tribes were. So
right,
but kinds of bloody ground up there.
Right, but you got to ask yourself, why Gettysburg? Why does that place draw me? And I've still not found the answer in that, There's a lot of different things.
And this is just my opinion. The Civil War is just, it seems to have the most haunted battlefields out of any of them. I've been to battlefields in France and in Vietnam and places like that. And there's a feeling there. But there's just something about those Civil War battlefields. And I think what it was, that was the first time it was Americans battling other Americans, literally, in some cases, brother against brother.
Yep.
And you get that extra emotion in there where, we are the enemy, you are the enemy, I am your enemy. It ramped things up. It wasn't somebody that didn't speak the language and didn't have the same culture and knowledge as you. It was literally could have been your neighbor. And in some cases, there were literally brothers that picked different sides.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that was a huge part of the devastation. And then you have people in the town that were very much like the Revolutionary War. You had loyalists living right next to, people that were rebels and, patriots and wanted, this was their country and they wanted independence. So you had a lot of that. But I think there's something with Gettysburg for me that, what is it with all these spiders? I'm getting attacked by spiders like nobody believed. I mean, last night they watched me chase one around. Huh?
Still here battling the flies.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, yeah.
But I think, no, don't. We'll send the flies there for the spiders to eat. How's that?
God, it's awful. But I really think it's something about either my soul recognizes somebody there or I was there, reincarnated or something along those lines. Something calls me there.
So bloody in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I mean, they literally talk about how they stack bodies like cordwood, things like that.
Sure.
And
gosh.
That disrespect of the vessel that carried the soul I think that could have an effect on things too. You know, if
Mm.
you receive a proper burial, then your spirit could be restless because of that.
They are out of control this season. I don't know what's up with it. But with me, I don't know what it is, but like I said, spiders are not my thing, man. You know, because if I can't see them too well to tell what kind they are, I don't need any more brown recluse spider bites or anything else. So, you know, it's not that I have anything against them. If it's, now, give you a hint. Don't kill the wolf spiders because they kill the brown recluse ones. You know what I mean? And that's what happened. A lot of people were calling
As long
Orchid
as
and
they're
all
not
these places.
venomous, I'm happy to cohabitate with them.
Yep.
Unless they get on me or in my bed, then all bets are off. Best case scenario, they
Yeah.
get tossed out the door. Worst case scenario, they get a barrel at sea in the bathroom.
Yep.
But,
I'll help them right across that Rainbow Bridge quick. I don't know if they got one for the
I
spiders.
burned their house down one time trying to kill a black widow.
Yeah. That one and
There's a can of hairspray and a lighter, and the thing just wouldn't die.
I almost shot a hole through the floor to get a cricket once. I don't like them either. But, you know, I had a bad experience, you know.
Okay.
Peppermint oil. Yeah, that's true. I was looking all over for my pepper. I'm out, Nicole.
Camel crickets, I don't like those.
I don't either.
Crickets, those things are aliens. I'm pretty sure.
Carrie's in here. Hello, honey. How you doing? But yeah, peppermint oil does work against them. I got a yard full of peppermint. You think I'd make a tincture or something? I'll start that tomorrow for sure. Yeah, I mean, but see, now the trick is this. This is something I found out, so I'm going to pass along some hard-earned knowledge here. The reason brown recluse got so strong and out of control is because when you have your house sprayed for bugs, they don't spray for brown recluse. Is something totally different. If you don't request it, the only thing that survives is a brown recluse. So then you kill all the natural things that kill them, like wolf spiders and stuff. So they really got out of hand, and they're very much like red-tailed hawks. They've got to have a 25-foot, 25-yard radius or whatever. If something else comes into that, they're just really aggressive. And if you want, I'm telling you right now, the scariest thing that you've ever seen on this podcast, Steve's podcast, or any of them, you Google right now, brown recluse spider bite about a weekend. Now, if you're squeamish, don't do it because you'll never unsee what you're about to see. But just keep in mind, I had 5 of them in one night. So that's why it's like pain I've never.
Yeah, I had a friend in Florida that got bit like up
Oh my
close.
God.
They had to like to remove a whole divot of skin there because of the necrosis. It literally rots the flesh.
Yeah, time is tissue. Time is tissue. And while it's going down in there and pushing back up, by the time it starts erupting, look like a little volcano, it's gone down in there. Depending on where you got bit. Like you get bit in the butt cheek, that's like the worst because it could just keep going down before it comes back up. And doctors didn't know how to handle it.
The face would be the worst because
Yeah.
they told you, that could have went to your brain, into your eye. Don't even think about it.
My friend got bit one guy got bit in the back of the neck, big old strong dude, and he was dead in 3 days because that venom hit him. You know, you have to fight it. I mean, this has been, I want to say 16 years now. I still fight stuff with it. So it's like rattlesnake. It changes your DNA. It changes everything. Made my hair curly.
Did you get anything off of that? Any like spidey senses or anything? Do you think it heightened any of your abilities?
No. I did.
Thought I'd ask.
I got nothing. What I got was harder knowledge, and I was able to pass it along. So people that were going to get, you know, some people, it was like getting shot in Civil War. They amputate, you know, your leg if they can't stop it, or your foot or whatever. But people that listened, there's a brown recluse rescue kit out there, a spider bite kit. Some of them couldn't use the name brown recluse, but it's charcoal and activated charcoal powder and a mixture of oils and stuff we came up with, and all the herbalists and stuff that help and give information on that. We got nothing for that. We had to go through it and learn what worked and what didn't. Medicine men and herbalists saved me. Chinese and Native American herbs, everything. I did nothing pharmaceutical. I think one time they tried to give me steroids to stop it, and that wasn't doing so good. It was awful.
You probably
really
just
awful.
been on the steroids and got stronger.
Yeah. I mean, it was just that. Well, that's what they do. They'll give you an antibiotic and a steroid, and that does nothing for the necrosis. So moms out there, if you're worried about it, get the kit. It's like $25, has a 30-year shelf life. Just look on Amazon, brown recluse rescue kit, and it has the two things. And immediately start. Immediately,
Yeah.
time is tissue.
That's something I've got to do with Mulder out here. He's got to get a shot in case he gets rattlesnake bit.
Oh, God bless it. God bless him. Yeah, do that. And it wouldn't hurt to have that kit too, because like I said, if you buy all the oils and mix them, like Lobedia oil and lavender oil and just the different stuff that's in there, oregano oil, it's going to cost you more than just getting the $25 kit. It's already mixed, and then once you have it, you can kind of sort of mix your own if you wanted to.
Amy, if I had $1 for everybody that told me that, I could retire. But I am very relaxed. I am very happy. My energy is absolutely through the roof. I've just been glowing.
Yeah, I did suck the poison out, Kevin.
Just suck the poison
swear to God, I'm in the shower. I'm in the freaking shower with the cold shower on me, sitting on the floor, and I told my sons, if I'm not out of the shower in 20 minutes, come get me, because I would have to. The pain, as an added bonus, brown recluse hyper intensifies your nerves, just for the shits and giggles of it. Just to make it extra fun. So the pain is like bombastic. I can't tell you how many wooden spoons there are with my teeth prints in it. This is no joke. And so, yeah, I'm sitting in the shower and I'm sucking the poison out and spit and passing out from the pain. It was, it's not something I'm laughing now, but I'm telling you, man, it almost got me. It almost got me. But I gained knowledge from it, and like I said, that little, you want to talk about timing. I know I've told the story before, but it's worth repeating. I was doing weddings, and I had because I'm a floral designer, and I had my hands all bandaged up with my own poultice and stuff, and I had bandanas around it. I kept working, which is why this arm got so bad, because I pumped all that venom up in this muscle by just cutting flowers. So anyway, I'm doing this, and I'm making this arch for this wedding, and a bride comes up to pay for her wedding that's coming in a couple weeks. She happened to be a nurse. She happened to be a nurse in the emergency room at the Huntsville Hospital, and her specialty was in venomous like bites, like poisonous bites. So if you got bit by a snake or a copperhead or something, that's where you went. And she says, well, did you break your finger? I said, no. She'd sprayed, no. I said, I got bit by spiders. And she's listening to me talk about it as she's, we're talking about flowers and stuff. She says, let me ask you a question. Can I see that? I mean, how long ago was this? And I said, well, I'm about 2 weeks in now. And she's like, look at, how many times did you get bit? I said, 5. And she, we start talking. Well, fast forward to the end of it, she says, listen to me. She goes, I don't know how to ask you this. She said, but obviously you know what you're doing. She says, I've never seen a bite 10 days in look like this. This is amazing. And I told her I was working with a little country doctor. Basically, I'd go in and tell Dr. Gunn. I knew that was a sign. His name was Dr. Gunn. And he would just say, okay, what are you doing? He'd write everything down and say, go home, keep doing it. And he'd just keep regulating me to see how I was doing, because my vitals and everything were going wackadoo.
Thank you.
So she's listening. She's listening to me, and she said, if I asked you to, would you talk to the parents? Because this little boy, in about 2 days, if we can't stop this, he's going to have an amputation. He was 3 years old. They're going to take his leg because they couldn't stop it. He got bit in the thigh. And I said, wait a minute. And I wrote down my name and number, my cell phone. And I said, here, I said, go tell the parents. I said, no, hand it to the mother. I said, because if you tell them what to do, you're going to get fired. But if I tell her what to do and she says, I want to stop treatment, I want to try this, and takes him to this doctor so he can keep an eye on him while she does it, well, she did. And now he's going to ride, he's riding a bike. He went to the prom. He's probably on a date, probably getting married by now. But so if you ask me any superpowers I got from that, it was wisdom, and it's my job to pass it along. So there you go. There you go. Prevent it ahead of time if you can. If you can't, there are things you can do. And don't ever laugh at herbs, because I'm here to tell you, man, I'm living proof they work, And Steve is too. He's tried a lot of things I told him,
Got to the cat's claw, but I'm going to do that as soon as I can source it out here.
Oh gosh, man, arthritis, gout. The funny thing about that is you can when you're an herbalist or something like that, you can rarely help the people you love the most because they don't listen. They just don't listen. And especially if you're the little crazy black sheep sister, I'm crazy as a bed bug to them, which I am anyway, but you guys embrace that. So there you go. So about 25 years after I was harping on my brother, yes, the one in the book, it's the only brother I got. he he didn't listen. He went with the doctor and everything else. We got horrible, horrible arthritis in our house. And I mean the kind that cripples you, curls your hands and your toes and everything else. Pain, knees, the whole hip, the whole deal. And he finally, this past 2 years, said, I want to get off some of this pain medication. He even had the thing that you got to keep cold where you do the shots in the knee and all that mess at home. Just stuff go through. So he calls up his doctor and he says, I've been off all this pain medication. I want to do something a little more natural and get it down to it. He goes, what do you suggest? Number one on the list in the Arthritis Foundation this year is cat's claw. Thank you very much. I'm validated.
You first told me about that about 5 years ago, I think. Maybe longer than that.
We are validated. And, Mario went to his doctor. She looked it up, and her mentor said it was like some of the best stuff for blood pressure and everything. When you take somebody that was on 11 pharmaceuticals when you met them, and you take time and you, with their doctor, if they'll listen, now they're on one, that's saying something for herbs, and better than they've ever been. So that's the thing. Herbs usually, their side effect, they usually cure something else. You got to know what you're doing. You got to pay attention, to what you're doing. And you have to steer your own ship. It only works if you take it. But, if it helps somebody,
That they say in AA, I've never been a member or anything, but it only works if you work it, and you got to work it every day. And that's true for a lot of things.
Amen. Amen. Who's pregnant, AJK? My brother? No, he's not pregnant.
Well,
no, but it was just funny because he had to make that phone call.
In AJ's cases, maybe I'm pregnant. So
that's funny. That's funny. But
I glow in the dark. My light is shining forth.
That's great.
It's get brighter.
That's why we're doing this tonight. We're just visiting with everybody, and here we go. Uncommon Beliefs dropped it, and I'll tell you something. Here's beware. There are pics in some pages, absolutely, but it's good to see it. And there was nameless people along the way. I'll never forget this guy. His email was Highway 66, and God bless this man. Back in the day when computers were not exactly everything they are now, and I stumbled across his plight, and he was taking pictures in the morning and the night every day of this bite, so I was able to follow it. He went to multiple doctors. He went to two or three different emergency rooms trying to get help. And finally, he lived near a Native American reservation and asked for help and got to get to somebody who would give him herbal care and stopped it. He was able to keep his finger because it was on his finger and it just pushes down to the bone. It eats everything. It's horrible. Tiny little spider bite.
I think it'll eat the bone too if it gets
It will.
down.
Yeah. After a while, it truly will. But the pain is absolutely beyond, and if you can get past that, you're not supposed to survive all that. So it starts picking out organs to mess with. And I remember this one doctor said, when it hits your heart, you're done. You're done. Especially if you're like driving and the adrenaline goes through you real fast and your blood starts pumping really fast. Just think about that when they tell you, you snake bite, don't move around a lot. Same deal.
Tie it off. Don't let that blood get out. And
What a horror. What a
I
horror.
had a guy that was out chopping wood one time, missed, chopped his leg open. And because he was exerting himself, it was just like spurting everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
Eminem. They told me he was lucky he didn't bleed out.
Right. That's like Yanni Janssen. That's what happened to him.
Yeah.
And then he just got sick. He felt sick and he went and laid down, never woke back up, and woke up at Toys R Us. That's a short version, but you get the idea.
That's it. That's the story.
But isn't that amazing, though? It's so nice when people like that get validated. I'm trying to get that wonderful doctor on. I'll get her name wrong, so I won't even bother. But she was on alone, and she was in a wheelchair. She had MS, and she decided to change her diet and look into herbs and everything else. And now she helps everybody else. I have her book; it's absolutely fabulous. I'll pull it up here one night. But she absolutely reversed it, and I've seen it. I've seen it happen. And I'm not saying pharmaceuticals aren't good. Gosh, you need to be put back together. There's nothing like Western medicine. People are pulling all kind of, miracles. I'm not saying that. I'm saying a nice balance of both. And if it's a nature-based thing, sometimes you have to fight nature with nature. You know, that's why I'm telling you. I knew this last one wasn't all natural. There was a little bit of chicanery going on, and whatever this last little virus whatnot went through, because my normal stuff wasn't hitting it the way it should, and I had to double up on that and add a couple things. But thank God I'm here, because I listen to people. And the number one thing you have to do as a mom or a caretaker or taking care of other people or a house full of people, you must remember to take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself and you go down, then you're not helping anybody. So please take care of you too. Eat well and do the things you're supposed to do. Don't forget, reminding everybody else to take their medicine, you don't take yours, or your vitamins or whatever it may be. So that's good advice, but there you go. I mean, I can't imagine being a ghost.
I wanted to see a nutritionalist, and I made the appointment. The woman weighed like 600 pounds, and I think, okay, God. I'm not going to go to that. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Oh no, that's not true. Is that true? No.
That's a true story.
Oh
that is
my
100% true.
Goodness. Then I see that doesn't make sense to me.
I saw the woman walk in, and the person that had given me right over there was a nurse that worked there, and she said, "That's your nutritionalist." And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Just take me back home." I'm like,
don't even bother. There could be things where it's not nutrition based and it's thyroid or something like that. But it's the visual where you go, oh my God, could you imagine going? Yeah, you're going to get a yoga instruction from somebody, and the person's, oh, see, yeah, that's funny. It's funny, but it's not. It's sad. It's more sad than funny, which makes it funny.
I'm overweight myself, but
yeah, I'm not trying to shame anybody either.
Since we've been traveling,
eat the good cookies, Susan. I will.
I've lost 37 pounds.
Look here, what I got.
I'm going to have to change it here, because Sandy's such a good cook that I'll put it all back if I'm not careful. And the restaurants, there are so many good restaurants here. It's not a real small town, but I've never seen the like of. I mean, there's all the regular chains. There's Mexican restaurants. There's traditional native food here. There's all kinds of little mom and pop places. There's barbecue places, Chinese food, Mexican food, everything. So I'm just.
That's wonderful. So many things to explore, so many things to find out and check out. Your favorite place here. I love moving to a new place. That's one of my superpowers, because I moved around so much with my mom. It was like I'd get excited. I'd hate to leave the school if I had friends, or the neighborhood if I had friends. That would always sucky, But man, that's one of my things. I love going to discover the new towns and different places, and setting up a new spot. I love it.
It's a brand new place for me to explore. Sandy's lived here, so she knows where everything is at. She's taken me around, like today, took me out by the Navajo ruins, or the Aztec ruins. I saw prairie dogs in the wild. That's the first time I ever seen a prairie dog that wasn't in a zoo. And I saw them.
Sweet.
And she said, "Look at the prairie dogs." And I'm like, "No shit."
No,
and, they were. I thought it was just something they had set up out there, but she revved the engine in the Mustang, and they're all like, they started looking around.
You know what? That's adorable, because that's another thing to get used to. Like when you go to a different state, a couple states away, and the squirrels look different. My God, I can't believe the squirrels here. They look so skinny and stuff, because mine are all fat, but that's probably just my squirrels, because they eat peanut butter jelly sandwiches and stuff. But different things like that. I know when I was in Alabama, we had something called a northern fox squirrel. Now, they looked like a gopher. I don't know why they were called a squirrel. It didn't look like a fox or squirrel, so I don't know where they got the name. But it looked more like a gopher, and it was red like a fox, and it had a white streak with black lines going up its face. It was real pretty. And they lived in my backyard under the pecan tree, so they really had it made. But I haven't seen those since. Of course, saw some other things in Alabama that probably weren't really animals. They were probably little gargoyle spirit
Right.
things or something. They
Still
were
living
horrible.
with the weather. I think she's got Stocktonitis, but
Hey
she
guys.
drove all the way to get me, and then basically I had to encourage her to not spend the night in her truck,
Right.
and then got up the next morning. So she did 1,250 miles out, helped me load up 1,250 miles back,
So much fun.
and then helped me unload and stuff once we're here. She washed my clothes for me. You wouldn't believe how good my clothes smell. That house I was in before, it had a smell. It smelled like the pets that the person there had.
Mm.
And I'd been around it so long, I didn't
You
even
don't
really
smell it anymore, yeah.
get out of it. And Sandy's like, that place stinks and your stuff stinks. So,
Just
so
all new.
yeah,
Everything's all new and a new start and a new place and you're New Mexican. That sounds so funny, doesn't it? But now, what's around you? You've got
here. She said New Mexicans.
New
I'm like,
Mexico. That's funny. Now you got a lot around you. Now you say you're near a reservation. Is it the Navajo reservation out there? Or?
oh, it's literally just less than we're right
Wow.
near it. We drove through it on the way here. Today we were up in one of the, was that the Southern Utes?
Southern U.
Southern Ute. We went up there when we drove up to Durango. That's beautiful up there too. And it's like 45 minutes away and you're in Colorado. And you can tell when you drive from New Mexico into Colorado, it looks different. There's different trees and things there. It's like the trees grew right up to the state line, like, nope, not going into New Mexico. It's a lot greener, prettier. Animas River's right there. What's the other one? The San Juan?
San Juan, Animas. And then there's the Durango narrow gauge railroad. So he got to see that. And like I drove him up to Honeyville and not Mancus, but I can't ever remember the name of that place. It's a little tiny town outside of Durango.
Boy, we saw a storm up there. It just blew up out of nowhere. Thunder, lightning, clouds, some of the biggest raindrops I've ever seen.
So I am taking him to Silverton this week.
And Sandy is my best friend. She literally saved my life. I don't think I would have lasted but a couple more years in that other place I was in just from the stress.
Found him a new doctor.
And aggravation. I saw a doctor today and making arrangements to get all that in order. And I'm excited. I'm just happy. I'm glowing. I glow in the dark now. That doesn't have anything to do with me being from Oak Ridge,
It's
Tennessee.
not from the uranium mines here in New Mexico.
But that's great. I'm excited all the things that you guys are going to do and come out with. I love the idea of the 31 days of Halloween and, you know, doing that the week before Halloween. That gives me something to look forward to.
My favorite holiday. We're going to go all out. If you're anywhere near this area, come by our house on Halloween. Last year you gave out, what was it, 80 pounds of candy?
We went through 80 pounds of candy in 3 hours.
That's amazing. Now, see, they're not allowed to. Now, listen. Have you ever had a very quiet trick played on you from a very patient man? I did not know that in this development you weren't allowed to trick or treat. So every year I'd go out and buy trick-or-treat candy, and he'd tell me, well, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, get some of this, get some of that. I get a big bowl of candy, no trick-or-treaters. I'm like, where's the trick-or-treaters? So next year, I get dressed as a witch, got a big bowl. I'm at the end of the driveway chucking candy at kids that come up the road and turn this way. And I'm chasing kids, take some of the candy. I had the things you slap on the wall, crawl down the wall, and all kind of stuff. So for years, I'm doing this. And then I find out last year, you're not even allowed to trick-or-treat. And he's just sitting there smiling because I bought all the candy and he'd eat it.
Well, and where I lived previously, I wasn't allowed to celebrate Halloween because it was the devil's holiday. The gates,
So we're going to live it up this year. He's got 5 years to catch up for. 5 years.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Well, I'll tell you what, you do a live thing, I'll do a live for me. I'm going to walk down to the end of the street.
What I said. We're going to set up out on the sidewalk in front of the house. We're going to have a camera on the trick-or-treaters.
That'd be great.
We're going to tell ghost stories.
Wonderful.
And broadcast us handing candy out. And we're going to have some really great giveaways on 13 past midnight. We're going to give away treat bags. We've got something little, they have some candy, but something a little more in there too. So I'm really looking forward to that.
I love you guys too.
I love you, sweetie.
So much for being so accepting of me. It's been almost a year that I've been hanging out with Steve. So almost a
Isn't
year.
it wonderful? And I mean, Steve, and getting with Steve is what brought you kind of in front of the camera, because you had your own channel and you were doing stuff and then back and forth. And see, that's what happens in this. You know what I mean? The years that people stay together and just keep supporting each other and get excited, genuinely excited when something good happens for them, or they get a lot of views on a thing.
She's an insomniac like me. We'll be sitting out here at 3 or 4 o'clock in the
Nice.
morning having a cigarette, and we have an idea for this video. Let's do this. What about a script about this? Hey, what about this as a theme? So it's just idea after idea after idea after idea.
And I'm not really like a in front of the camera person. I do better behind the scenes, like writing, and so it's kind of a perfect pairing.
It's wonderful. And there's a lot more stuff they haven't even just, thought of yet that's going to come out of this and branch out. And it's like-minded people too that are going to, be attached to it, and some will come and go, and that's fine. Some people are just here for a minute and then, leave their mark, and then they go to do their thing. And that's just the way it is. But, this chat, the way this chat is, I mean, I was telling Lynn Monet, talking to her on the phone, and very much like you and I, Steve, we first talked. We talked like 4 hours. I said, man, I got to work in the morning. And I was still
around
adrenaline.
noon. I was sitting out on my back porch when I lived in inner southeast Portland in the Selwood neighborhood, and it was dark by the time I went in, and it was summertime. I mean, it didn't get dark. I think we talked like 6 or 7 hours.
We had a blast.
All right, man. And then we had to quit because you had to get up and go to work.
Right. That's why I'm so excited to have you on, Lynn on with you on a Monday, because when she's talking about the inner dimensions and the things that happen on the other side, and Akashic records, and things we learn from others coming over to tell us about the afterlife, and the aliens and different aliens, and Bigfoot, and like everybody puts everything in one group. We always say there's good, bad, and everything, but if everything is connected, and all of these ideas and stuff are snapping into place, it's just amazing. You meet somebody who's exactly your age and had a totally different journey in their life than you, and you meet at the end of that and you come up with the same answers. It's because they're true.
Yeah,
you know what
absolutely.
I'm saying? And Steve too. I mean, Steve and I have talked about the same thing. So
we like manifested this whole thing.
I was rolling my eyes at we have a swamp cooler on our house, and we have to adjust the water just right to it, and it's like literally leaking and running off of our roof right now into a bucket. And so my husband came out and looked at it. I was like, I know it's been leaking all day. I'm trying to jack with it to get it right. So anyway, I'm going to go let you guys talk and finish up here. I am still not feeling very well.
Oh, honey, go get some sleep, sweetie.
I have a hernia that I have to have surgery on soon, so I'm not looking forward to that either.
Blessings and healing light, everybody. Send her as much good energy as you can. Sandy, we can't thank you enough for being a good friend. You're definitely a great gatekeeper. You used all of your specialties to, not only do the wonderful things with the missing Indigenous people and the writing that you do and the encouragement, but all the kind things you've ever said about myself and this show and other people. You are a light, and you're just so wonderful, because you didn't keep that light on under a bushel basket. You reach out and you touch everybody with it. And I love you, sister. And thank you so much for everything you guys are doing right now. And I know you're going to help more.
She used to be a nurse, and that takes a special person anyway.
It does.
She's already gotten that.
Absolutely.
She's gone beyond that.
It absolutely does. Lots of healing energy. Everybody send it out to Sandy. You go get some rest, love, and, come back and anytime you want. You're always welcome here, sweetie.
Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the show, guys. Love you all. I will see everybody later. Thank you for having me.
10 past midnight coming up. We'll be doing something.
There you go. Lots of love energy.
Wrap up here. I'm going to have to go get something to eat myself.
All right, sweetie.
I get so excited out here. And Hey, there's Connor. How you doing? Now there's
Hey, everybody.
quiet little guy that just stands off to the side and nobody notices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's
Have you
so
ever had,
much energy.
have you ever had Connor on your show? If you haven't,
He has been on. We need to get him on for a longer show, though. He's just so
he,
full of
he
energy.
absolutely lights up the room.
Yeah,
He
he
just
does.
the amount of energy that man gives off, you can't help but get enthused and get drawn into that. Connor is one of my favorite people I've ever met in this field.
Yeah, he's got a lot of really good energy, and he
I'm,
really
I'm
does
waiting for
brighten
the
up.
day that he and I get together in person. It'll be especially with my newfound energy and creativity and all this spark that's
You're going
brought
to
me.
be going off the chain, Steve. You absolutely are. Now, you said you need to go get something to eat. Do you want to? Do you want to take a break? You want to? You want to get out of here early? What do you want to do?
I think I'd like to get out of here early because I'm still
Okay.
unpacking and still setting things up and doing my duties for missing persons and mysteries. And see, we had some downtime there, and then I took a couple of days beyond that. So I'm trying to play catch up, but I've got all this positive energy and creative energy and stuff. I want to take advantage of it, and I don't
Absolutely.
expect it's going to wane. I think it's only ramping up. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think we'll just unless
It's
you've
a
got.
lot of adrenaline too. It's a lot of adrenaline, and I
I've
had that last night too, and it's just
been
amazing.
on ever since, really, literally, ever since I left the other place. And
Hmm.
I remember what you said. I did not look back. I even put my hand up, put blinders on so I couldn't even see it in the rearview mirror. That was the only place I would have wanted to see it, but I didn't want to see it at all.
Right.
I
I
didn't.
told you because I
It
said, yeah,
would
I
have
didn't want
turned
you to
stuff
turn
so
into a
off.
pillar of salt.
And literally, when we pulled out of the driveway, I felt stuff start shedding off of me. I
I'm
felt
so
that
glad.
negative energy and all that. There's people that are energy vampires and they don't even realize it.
So true.
They take you down. And other people, that old saying, it's hackneyed, it's cliched, misery loves company. People
Yes.
want you to be as crazy and as miserable as they are, and they can't
Yes.
stand it if you're not. And that's kind of I was in that kind of situation.
And Steve, that's not the first time you've run into it, honey.
No,
It's
no,
happened
we got
before.
one place I worked where people
Hmm.
were going out. We had about one a week going out on a stretcher. And then I kept seeing that guy go into the bathroom after everybody else had left. And one day I waited. I'm going to wait for this guy to come out because he was dressed nice. We dressed down there. It was very, very casual, like jeans and tennis shoes. This guy was wearing uh, shoes like he had to polish, like Florshams,
Hmm.
dress slacks, a shirt and a tie. I never did see his face, but I saw him and I waited, waited, waited. He never came out. I went in the bathroom. There's nobody in there. I checked every stall. There was no other way in or out of that bathroom. And then I did a little research and found out it had been a financial group at one time. And when it shut down, and some of those people were everybody lost their job, but some of them took it very hard. There was a guy that waited till everybody left, went in the bathroom and hung himself from the rail above the door in the last stall. And I was
Mm.
seeing that, and that whole place was full of that energy. There was literally people. The guy that sat next to me in one of the cubes, I actually saw him like jump back. His chair flopped over, and he laid on the floor. There was another lady that went into the women's bathroom, which was right next to the men's, but they had a wall inside separating them. She went in the bathroom in the ladies' room and had some kind of freak out. She was in there screaming, and they had to go in and get and bring her out. She had some sort of attack in there, but the whole place was on. And I remember
Mm.
I left all my stuff there. You even told me, you said,
Hmm.
whatever you left there, don't go back after. I had some crystals. I had a big
Hmm.
piece of quartz. I was carrying stuff in there to try to combat that stuff.
Hmm.
I had a
Hmm.
little carved Buddha that my daughter had given
That
me.
was what I saw. I said there was something. Listen, guys, this was
That
like
was the one
intense.
thing I wanted to go back and get, but I left it.
It was intense. I would have dreams, and he's like literal dreams of him circling a drain, and it's like you gotta catch him, you gotta catch him. So I would try to call or try to send text. You gotta call me. I gotta talk to you. And I'm like, finally, it just burst out. I said, Steve, I'm visualizing you circling the drain because I knew a little bit about, where you were walking through, and there was a lot going on in the town at that time. So the
That was
bus
literally
route was changed.
the
Everything.
shadow,
It was
valley,
just
the shadow
draining him. Yeah, and I said, look, they told me they came to my in my dream, spirit guides, his spirit guides. I can't explain it, but they said he's gonna go back for something small, dark, and wooden,
yeah.
and that's
It
the
was
thing that
carved
it's
out of
using to draw you
some
back.
dark wood, just a little tiny thing about it. It wasn't even an inch tall. And I told my daughter, and she's like, F it, leave it there. I'll get you another one.
Because I said that's the thing that it's playing in his head to come back and get because it meant something to him, you
Yeah,
know.
stuff I
And
didn't care about. Like, I mean, I had some crystals that I'd paid several $100s for.
listen to what Laura says. When this don't you dare go back in there, you listen. She has experienced that, you know, because I said, listen, guys, you got to put down all kind of protection. Laura's sick. I mean, this isn't a game, you know, and that's what makes me so mad about some of these
Plus, the
shows.
job was terrible. It was a
Yeah.
call center doing technical support for phones. I was second and third level support. So by the time the call got to you, they were already pissed because the first person they
Thank
talked
you,
to
sweetie.
couldn't help,
Right.
and they might have waited for an hour on hold till somebody picked up. So it was that kind of thing. And I do 100 calls a day. People yelling at you, people screaming at you. That will pull your
Yes.
energy. Too.
Yeah. If
If
you're
you
in a
have
job like that, get out. Whatever bills you have.
Hey, calm down. I'm on your side. I
Yeah.
will help you.
Oh,
But still, I had one man. I mean, I literally thought he was going to stroke out or something. He was screaming so loud, and he said, "I've just got out of the hospital. I've had a heart attack, and now my phone doesn't work." And I'm like, "Man, calm down. You're going to die if you keep that. No wonder you had a heart attack."
right. Then that's it. How you go at
Wonder
things
about
too.
people. I wonder about that guy. He probably,
Stroked out. But I'm
stroked
glad
out.
you listened and didn't go back for that because what the
I said, I
vision that was
wanted
shown
that
me,
Roberta, I would have walked back to get it because
it
my
would.
daughter gave it to
Yeah, I
me.
know, but
I
it
told
was
her
going to jump
about
in
it.
there and go home with you.
What you said, she said, "Leave it, don't go." She knows.
So glad.
We had an interesting talk with her this last time when we were on the road. We went to all those places, and yeah, in June we went up back into Washington State. Sandy and I, we went
So
to
voting.
20 different cities, 73 locations, 1,250 miles in a week. But while I was on the road, my daughter called and talked to us, and she was having some kind of attack, like a literal psychic attack or some sort of supernatural attack going on. So she understands. She knows what that's like
Mm-hmm.
to have to deal with stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
she's like, "Do not go back and get that. I'll get you another one." It didn't, it was
Yep,
not.
left it behind. And you
It
know
was
what? A lot of people do that.
kind, but so would the next one be.
Yeah, and you don't even know what happened in that place, and you don't need to know. Just know you got away from it, and you escaped it, and everything. Are you kidding me? He's just jumped in here,
That's
sobriety
kind of what I
Bowden.
did in this situation. Sandy came and rescued me and literally
Mm-hmm.
saved my life, gave me a place to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's
And you helped her too.
and when
It-
she
it-
came to pick me up, she's
It's a
like,
balance.
"Are you ready to go home?" And I literally I cried because
Yeah.
I haven't
I
I haven't
felt it.
felt home. I haven't had a place that I considered home since my parents died. That'll be 20 years next year. So long time coming.
Yeah, yeah, and everybody in
Thank
here
you. Are you
feels it
kidding me?
too. And that's just the thing about this chat and the people here. I mean, yes, people come in to hear, about Bigfoot and ghost stories and this and missing this and, mysteries and things and conspiracy stuff. But really, everybody's here. It's all drawn to that light. It's like, positive draws positive. That's why, you and I both and Sandy and everybody, we try to do things with integrity. We try to bring you the truth. I might have somebody on that, I might disagree with, and I'm going to let them say what they want to say, and I'm not going to badmouth them. And, I like to, much like a Lincoln, I like to have people around that disagree that we can talk and debate ideas. But remember something, that got Lincoln killed. So just saying. And we are going to talk about that later on. Donnie and I are digging on the Lincoln
I've got
conspiracy, and
another
I'm shocked.
here. Let me see if I can show you this. It's either a really big dog or a really small bear. I don't know if you
Oh,
can see
what a precious.
it. That's Katie. Hey, Katie.
All that love. Look at that. Look at that baby. Look at that fur baby. Look at
It's
him.
huge. You can't
Furry
really get an
gatekeeper.
idea. She probably weighs, what does she weigh, Sandy? 180 pounds or something?
She weighs 125 pounds.
145? That's
Yep.
a big dog or a small bear.
And see, you can tell the weight's been lifted off. It's great. Because when you're in a place like that that's really trying to put your light out, and they don't, like you say, energy vampires, and most time people don't even realize they're doing it. They're just miserable, and they're like little black clouds, that
Yeah.
that float around and affect people, That's the way it is. And you just got to get rid of them. You can't save them. You can't pull them out. You can't, especially if it's pulling you down, guys. Every once in a while, a lot of us are rescuers because light workers just have that instinct. But you have to understand two major things. One, you cannot rescue someone who does not want to be rescued. And two, you have to make the decision that every time you pull them out of, say, almost like a drowning person, and you keep jumping in and pulling them, but sometimes you got to knock them out because they're fighting so much, they're going to drown you both. You get them to the shore, you turn around, they jump back in again, and you do it again, you do it again. You have to make that decision to keep walking, and like Steve said, don't turn around and look back, because you turn into a pillar of salt. But that's just it. You have to decide that you're not going to take me down with you, and you cannot rescue people that don't want to be rescued. And some people don't even know they want to be rescued, and are insulted by it, because they've managed and walked around in that muck and mire of their life for so long. You just have to know when to walk away.
There's psychic vampires, there's energy vampires, and there are emotional vampires. Some are all three. And it's one of those things a lot of people don't even know they're doing it.
No, they don't. And it's just emotional vampire, like we said. And like we said last night with Lynn too, some people are brought into your life, or you brought it in, or it was whatever, to actually push your buttons, to help you work on being patient, or whatever it may be.
Out of the Bible, for example.
Yeah, and that's just the way it is. And Steve and I are, we've lived our lives. We've lived eclectic lives. We've been all over the place, and we've met a lot of people. And the thing about that is that kind of, I don't want to say vagabond, but it's kind of like that, paranormal vagabond. You pick up a little wisdom.
The gypsy blood, the wanderlust.
Yeah,
I like.
me too. Me too. Gypsy soul, right here. That's what it says.
I backpacked through Europe. I took a
Thank you, Bowden.
gap year between high school and college, and you couldn't pay me to backpack through Europe now. And then after my parents died, I went to Southeast Asia for a year. That was just, I thought it would help with the grieving, but I think it just made it worse. But that was my version of running away from home.
I know. I mean,
that you have to come back, and sometimes like when we go out on these travels for the channel, I'd have the biggest time. That I've never been arrested. I've never had more than a moving violation, but I literally felt like I'd been let out of prison. But then I had to come back into that mess.
Yes.
And the closer I got to where I was living at the time when we come back, the darker things got, inside my head. And
I know.
And I'm not a depressive type person. I don't get depressed, but I would be depressed for a few days, having to come back. And now,
and like I said, you always had that light. Your chat, this group, the group in Missing Persons and Mysteries, the wonderful people behind the scenes.
We had no idea you're unhappy.
Right.
We had no idea how miserable you were. That's because I held it in. I kept it that way. Why would I want to come on here and try to make everybody as miserable as I am, or worse yet, try to get pity or people to feel sorry for me? That doesn't solve anything.
But my friend, because the things that we have been through, we know to push through that and put out the light, because it doesn't only help the people that are listening, but it helps you too. It helps you too. So, when we're going through this, somebody gave me absolutely wonderful, I believe it was Lindsay, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Be Kind has, many people, Susan, many people have put out there and said, we knew you were going through something, but you were still here trying to make people laugh. Well, laughter's the best medicine, and if you've got somebody.
If I can tell a joke, if I can get people to laugh,
right.
Even if I'm dying inside, I'll do it. I'll go for the fun. And that's how you do it. There's an old story about a man that went to the doctor because he was so depressed, he didn't know what to do. And the doctor said, let me tell you, there's this clown in town. He is the funniest man you've ever seen. Go watch him. He puts on a show. He tells jokes. He juggles. And the man said, doctor, that's me. I am that clown. He said, that's the darkness in me that makes me want to make people laugh and stuff.
Right.
But nobody there to cheer me up.
Isn't
I've
that
always
something?
remembered this. I think it was in like Ripley's Believe It or Not, or one of those, but that's always stuck with me. I've been in that situation before where I was the clown. And then, you see that with a lot of comedians. I did stand-up comedy back in the 80s, and again in the early to mid 2000s when I was in Las Vegas. Comedians are some of the saddest people you'll ever meet. I mean, look at
Robin Williams,
Chris Farley, John Belushi, substance abuse, alcohol, just sad people. But it's that in you that you have that sadness, that melancholy, that makes you want to make other people laugh. And just for a minute, you can kind of forget that and revel in the humor and stuff. But it's, you're dark inside, you're dead inside. And I never got that far. I mean, my embers went way down. I wasn't going to let it go out. But I wouldn't. I refuse to give in, give up, give over, give out.
Right. Well,
You
see,
gotta have
that's the thing, Steve, too. It's like, when you have people around you that pick up on that, like Aunt Edna's saying, and Susan's saying, and other people are saying that they can kind of see it under. That's the thing. You just keep going and you keep your head up and looking at the light that's coming in and all the love and the connections, and eventually something is going to happen to
Thank you,
make
Brian.
to open up. And thank you so much, Brian. Oh, you're so sweet. Everybody wish Brian a good move. He's finally moving, thank God. I couldn't be happier for you, my brother. And
Right there with you. I just moved, and I'm the happiest I've ever been. And hopefully
yep.
that'll
Absolutely,
happen.
new beginnings for so many people. Thank you, darling. You know where that's going. It's going right to this podcast and keep, try to keep positive things out there. We deal with some dark stuff every once in a while. I'll tell you, it was not easy doing 26 hours. I don't know how long was it, Donnie, and the
Thank you. Are you
research.
kidding me? But remember that. Never give in, give up, give over, or give out.
Nope,
Just
nope.
keep your eye on the prize.
Keep on
your head
trucking,
down,
baby.
and
Drive on.
let it
Drive
let it
on.
There's
Yep.
something my dad told me a long time ago that I've never forgotten. He said, if you fall in the river, he said, you can either swim against the current or swim with the current. He said, you're basically going to end up in the same place,
Hmm.
but it's up to you whether you're tired when you get there or not.
Hmm.
So
And two,
sometimes you got to go with the river and see where it takes you. And here I am.
you know what? The life I've had, Steve, and I bet you'd say the same thing. I bet you Sandy would say the same. You think you'd go back and change things or do stuff different. I wouldn't change anything because I learned a little bit from each
Yeah. Oh, it is a learning
each
growing.
step. You know,
Learn what I was made of, what I'm capable of enduring.
right?
That's something that's saying
And overcoming,
what
and being better for it.
doesn't kill you shall make you stronger. I'm
Hmm.
living here for that.
Right. And
But
somebody said today, I think it might have been Carol XO, she was saying, don't tell me my trauma made me stronger. I made me stronger. And that's the truth. But you wouldn't have learned the strength unless you went through the trauma.
Yeah.
Because, just like the elder told me when I was working with herbs and I wanted to help people and learning about that because it helped me, he said, well, you're the best for that because you know what pain is. You know what going through that and not being able to help yourself. And the kindness and everything else when you're someone, whether you're in a mother or a grandmother or a healer of some sort or a physician, a physical therapist, a nurse, all of this, usually those people know because they've been through something. And
those moments. Are you
yeah.
talking about out there in Oak Ridge, Tennessee? That's where I grew up. My parents met when they worked on the Manhattan Project together. My dad worked for Oak Ridge National Laboratory. But yeah, I know those exact Army barracks that you're talking about. That, and there is.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
There's an impression there. A lot of different places in Oak Ridge like that. The old Alexander Inn. I think they've opened that back up and turned that into something else. But there's a lot of dark stuff in Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Absolutely. And I just want to say again, if anybody missed the episode last night, please go back and look at that because this lady is wonderful. And like maybe next Monday, Steve will get her on, and I'd love to get Kevin Killian back on Ghosts and Me because he was just fantastic with us too. There's so much knowledge here, and that's my big thing, to try to get you knowledge and get you different ideas. Some things that you resonate with, or you might have had a missing piece or a puzzle. Last night we were talking about like some people believe in Bigfoot, but maybe not aliens. But again, what if you thought different about aliens? What if you thought there's just other places to reincarnate to? You know what I mean?
It's all connected.
It is. It is. And Lynn says so too, and she brings in her insight, and some of the best message she gave was
talking about there. But truly, living well is the best revenge. That's if you go after somebody and try to seek revenge, that's just going to bring something back on
absolutely.
you.
Absolutely.
Living well, doing well, being well.
Yep.
Right.
And you're responsible and accountable for everything you do. Like we've had many people with NDAs come back and tell us that. So if we start now doing good things.
I not want to have to stand in front of whatever you believe in someday and account for the things that they've done to other human beings.
Right. And I don't Again, I don't think it's like that, Steve. I'm really leaning toward the thing that you judge yourself, and I think that's the hard. I think that's harder even because you know what you were going through at that time, and you think, I should have gone back and checked on that dog I hit, or I should have gone back and apologized to that guy I yelled at the grocery store, because that probably could have changed that kid's whole life. You don't know what that kid's going through at home, and it's so hard now because everybody's on edge and things are way up. But if you notice something, as much as some people seem to be just really spinning out of control, the light anchors, the light workers are just steadfast, and our lights are getting brighter. There's something going on, guys.
The super sticker.
Thank you. Are you kidding me, super sticker? Thank
Thank
you,
you,
darling.
for helping Cisco out. If you can
Thank you.
please do. That's what helps keep her on the air.
It does, because there's been plenty of times where I said, I can't, no, I have to do this because I have to do it for the people. For that person that comes back and says, that helped me at the right time, or I heard this at the right time, or I was able to help somebody else because a guest gave them the words to at that moment that they needed them, or something like that.
It's a good sense of community.
Amy, thank you.
We love one another.
Oh, you guys.
You're awesome.
God
Amy,
bless you, Amy. Thank you so much. Are you kidding me? Thank you. We love you so much, guys. And I would do this until I can't. And I thank you again to that wonderful person who gave me money to go to Gettysburg. Got the hotel today, and we're going to go up there. And everybody's asking, where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? And what you really need to understand is I want to do all of it, but when I get there, I prepare for a couple weeks ahead of time, and I talk to my spirit guys, and I say, send me where I need to be, because they know better than I do, and I swear, it's like their people get with their people, and they might be ready.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Lindsay, thank
I
you.
can feel the love.
God bless you.
Folks. And it's not about the money at all.
No, it's not, but thank
of
you so much.
And just know that whatever seeds you sow, that's going to come back.
Yep.
I love to tell this story, but when you plant a kernel of corn, you don't get a kernel back. You get a stalk. And on that stalk, there may be a dozen ears. And on each one of those ears is 100 kernels. So you reap what you sow. Make sure that you sow a harvest that's worth reaping.
Absolutely, sweetheart.
Hate and discord, things like that, look how much you're going to get back. And that's a tenet in a lot of different religions. I've studied comparative religions, but I'm not a theologian.
A lot of faith-based stuff.
A lot of religions, the threefold law, the tenfold law, the
Honey,
right back
it's tribal. It's older than religion. It's tribal, because if people knew that if they didn't respect nature, nature wouldn't respect them, and it wouldn't be there to help them. If they used up all the crops, if they tore up all the herbs, there weren't going to be any next year. I mean, it's common sense, and kindness is common sense. And I think it's right for us, and natural for us to be kind and help each other. I think society has tried to beat us out.
You have to learn you don't eat up all your crops. You've got to save some seed to plant. So you can eat your crops, and then that's all you got, a full belly for a little while. But you save those seed, you'll have full belly for a long time to come.
I thought for a second there, I thought Lindsay said if I could plant bacon, I would, but she said if she could send bacon, she would. You did, honey. You said lots of love. Thank you, darling.
Sure, bacon.
I am going to Gettysburg 19th, 20th, and 21st, and it's the Gettysburg Bash put on by Steve and Pamela Berry of Hoover House, and Jim and Dave of KSPS, and a lot of wonderful people get in there involved, and it's wounded vets and bacon, chocolate covered bacon. That looks good, man.
I'm going to send you some of this.
Oh gosh, that looks good.
To Pastor Rango.
Thank you, sweetie. And so all the proceeds to get in the door, I think it's like $20 for 3 days or something like that. And lots of vendors, lots of wonderful speakers. Yeah, Ron Yacovetti's going to be there, I think. John Zaffis. I mean, so many people in the paranormal world. But the thing is when you get there and you talk to everybody, and then everybody says, okay, we're going here, we're going there. That's when I kind of find out. I just go, and somehow there is a spirit there that's about ready to listen and just needs a little bit of extra love to get over there, like the little girl last time at the Hoover House, and the soldiers. I think this time it's going to be soldier-based.
Each show is going to be there. That's if you're wavering on whether to go or not, that's reason enough.
Right there.
Cisco and Ronnie Cho together.
Yep. I'm going to take him on. I'm going to give him the whiz bang battlefield tour. And he made the mistake of telling me he didn't know too much about Gettysburg or Lincoln or the Gettysburg Address. So,
You're about to get an education, Donnie.
yep. Donnie's going to get the Cisco tour. And I'll tell you what, my heart is there. So, believe me, you're gonna you're gonna see some stuff. But it's such a time in our lives as a nation. If I don't know how y'all feel about Lincoln, but man, I'll tell you what, a lot of times, if you just read his letters, read the man's words, read a couple things. But the Gettysburg Address has got to be, it's 272 words, it's 11 sentences. The speaker before him spoke for an hour and 57 minutes. Nobody remembers a word he said.
Who he was or what he said.
Right.
And Lincoln killed it with something literally, I think he wrote it on the back of a napkin or something.
Yeah, back of an envelope. Yeah.
There.
And
Yeah.
it's just absolutely amazing. All he wanted was to preserve the Union, to preserve what we had here as Americans, and every man to be free and to be able to experience that. And you never know what you got till it's gone, and you gotta want it. And like Thomas Jefferson said, every once in a while, the tree of liberty must be watered with. Patriots' blood, and I know that sounds awful, but it really means
freedom isn't free.
Freedom isn't free, and you can't forget those who fought before us and blazed the trail. We walk in their footsteps. I've always been taught that the Native Americans that where we came from, and the Scottish, every culture has had to fight for that. So the thing is Abe, kind of saw that. I believe he was here for that brief and shining moment. The whole time he was in office, it was war, and he got to see the end of it. And at the end of it, his life was taken from him a little bit too early. And one of the reasons for that was because he was going to be so kind to the South. One minute we're fighting them, and the next minute he tells Grant, let them up easy. Let them up easy. These are all Americans. We're all Americans. We all enjoy our freedom. We want our kids to have a future. We want to remember the people that blazed the trail before us, and we want the pursuit of happiness. You're not promised happiness. You're promised you can go after it, and everybody's got that right. So, just remember that now when all these things are shaky, and remember what got it the first time.
T-shirt that if you can read this, thank a teacher. If you're reading in English, thank a veteran.
Amen. Oh man, that's powerful. So true.
Right
so
there.
True. So we're going to go to the battlefield here in a couple weeks, and I'm going to take y'all with me. And Donnie and Laura and I are going to try to do some fun stuff for you, try to do a couple lives from there. I don't know where I'm going to wind up, but I guarantee you we're going to come back with good stories, and I'm going to share them all with you guys. And Steve, I can't thank you enough for sharing your travels and your story with us, because it gives so many people hope to just keep...
The adventure is just beginning.
It's just beginning.
This time it's rainbows. It's like,
sweetie, anything I can do to help you and Sandy, I am there. And
that rainbow that we saw driving in, it was right over the area where we're going. Yesterday, I'm sitting out here, saw a double rainbow. That's only the second one of those I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's and I had one not too very long ago. I got to see a double rainbow too, right, down our street. So it was really neat. There's a lot of people suffering tonight with these floods. Please remember them. Please keep your eye on the Weather Channel. There's a couple of good ones on YouTube. I know you think the local news, and I'm not saying not to, but Ryan Hall, y'all, on YouTube is really on it, and he's in Kentucky himself. Yeah, their channel does a lot of work to help people.
All that part of the South is having a hard time right now. So.
Yeah, lots of floods and everything else. So
help if you can, even if it's just to send them love and light.
Yeah, just love and light. That you'd be surprised how much that helps.
Everybody that donated to Cisco's cause tonight.
Thank you.
That. Worst part about that is YouTube takes about half of it. I don't know.
I think 40%. But you know what? That doesn't matter.
40% of nothing. So 40% of anything is 40%. That'll go toward the channel and help you that.
Absolutely, because without YouTube we wouldn't be able to do this. And I was explaining it to Lynn, who was thinking about doing a channel herself, and I said, well, come on over here, I'll teach you what I know. I don't know that much, but You should get that light needs to get out there. So much darkness. Only takes
Yeah.
a little bit of light.
Then you shine light in those rooms because there's some dark, dark corners out there.
Mm.
I crawled out of one of them.
Yep. And it doesn't take long for it to envelop you. Sometimes you don't even realize it until you're halfway. It's just the way it is. But
I knew I was miserable, but I didn't really realize how miserable I was till I wasn't miserable anymore. And then it's like, holy crow.
I know. And too, like you keep yourself
It's
busy
that,
and
that
we just
frog
get
in the
used to
boiling water thing. The water just gradually heats up, and before you know it, your frog is cooked.
We love y'all too. We love y'all too. And I know Steve's got so much to do tonight. I'm so glad you got to take the time because when you're moving, it takes a little while. Take your
Yeah,
time
still
and
settling in, like I said,
yeah,
setting everything
get
up.
settled in and
That was
you
one
know.
of the fun things when I packed because I lived in a really small room there, and that was all the space I had. I found stuff I didn't even know I had. I'd forgotten about. It's like Christmas.
Hmm.
Uh, there was something I was looking at on Amazon the other day. Thinking, I might not order a couple of those after I move. Sure enough, I was going through a box, and there was two of the thing that I was going to order. So
Oh
there you go.
wow.
And I
Well, I know
found
you found my pendulums and stuff like that. So when
the
they
whole
get
box
here, I
for
thought
you.
it was so cool because you had it for a while. It's got your energy, so make sure you sage, but your
Yeah,
energy, not from
Sandy
that
gave me
place,
a
but
big
from you.
stick of white sage this morning. I'm going to sage all my stuff just to make sure that there's nothing on it
Yep.
that will get
And you
saged.
two put a blessing on it and send it here because what we're going to do, I can't
Thank you
remember
to those
how
two.
many.
So it's got part of Sandy in it. It's got part of you,
Wonderful.
part of me, and then whoever it goes to.
You're right. And then we're
It's
going to do that. Every Monday, we'll give one away in the chat. We'll do like a trivia. We'll do something, to where they can do. And then you guys will get a pendulum and we'll figure all that out. But that way, if that's something that you want to learn how to do, I find very comfortable with that, because my big thing is dowsing rods because it's more natural to me. And I think those are too, in a lot of ways, different gemstones are going to resonate with different people. So that kind of thing. But I think you'll get
I've
the
got a
one that you want.
story I want to tell you before we
Please
go.
do. Please do. And
The
I've
other
got a
day,
little ghost story for the way out. So,
I've got a lady that I've been talking to. She lives in South Africa. She's an English person. Although she was born there, she considers herself English. Meaning she's not one of the Afrikaners or the Boers, which were the Dutch settlers that were so mean to the people there. But she's a white South African, and she's writing some stuff for me for the other channel. And we just were chit chatting, and we were talking about tea, and she talked about how that even though she's South African, she still has enough British in her that she wants tea. And we were talking about types of tea. My favorite type of tea is Earl Grey, and she said that she didn't really like that. That it was too heavy on the something's a bergamot or something that's in it that
Okay.
makes it a little bitter. She said, I've always just drank the English breakfast tea. I've never had any. I've never bought any. I've never ordered any. Well, the next day, I saw something poking out from under the edge of my keyboard in my room. This is what I was packing to move and stuff. And I lifted my keyboard up. There was a coupon out of a pack of
Uh-huh.
natural American
Spirits.
spirits in there. They've been having this promotion where you can win a trip to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and see the balloon rally.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's only been recent. There was that under there, my latest rent receipt. So, and that was less than a month old, and a packet, and I've got a picture of a packet of English breakfast tea. I know it
Wow.
was because not a week prior to that, I got tangled up in the cord and knocked the keyboard all the way off in the floor. It wasn't under there then. Very next day, it showed up. I showed her a picture of it. It is, I think it's an apport.
Yeah.
We were talking about it, and it literally came out of nowhere and
Out of
showed up
nowhere.
on my keyboard. I've still got it. I was afraid to drink it. I
Oh,
thought
my goodness.
I might go through whatever portal it came through to get to me, but
Oh, don't disappear on us now. We just,
maybe I'll drink it
you
live.
go to a portal, I'm going in to get you out, and I know people who can do it.
Drink it
So,
live on the air. But there was a time when I said that if I came across a portal, if I had Mulder with me, I would have went through it. I didn't care what it was, UFO, take me with you. Not only do I want to believe, I wanted to leave. Take me. Let's get out of here.
let's go with you.
I wound up in a lot better situation than being abducted by a
Yep.
UFO.
Amy said that's a message and
It
synchronicity
is.
from, it is. And,
Don't worry about it. It blew her away. She's she's a believer in the supernatural and the occult. That's what she's writing about, is some of the myths and legends in South Africa. It's going to be really interesting
Yeah.
when we do these videos. But maybe I'll brew it during the 31 nights of Halloween and drink it live on the air and see.
Oh my goodness! And we'll watch you grow third eye in your forehead. That'd be great. Looking forward to it. This one is the rose mint, the Bigelow rose mint tea. It's so good. It's for stress and all this other stuff.
If you don't
It's
know
really
anything
good.
about Apport, Apport, look that up. Now, it usually goes along with a seance, poltergeist activity. I didn't have a seance. No poltergeist there that I know of. The devil would have been scared in that place. But it just showed up. I mean,
It showed up.
no way it was.
And there's no reason to question it, Steve. It's like we say here all the time. Whatever the first feeling you got, that's probably it. And you thought, hey, it was a good thing, and it
was a
that's the way it is.
manifestation. And I've been manifesting lately. I mean, that's how all this came about.
Oh yeah, and absolutely remember that guy. Manifest.
And just keep putting it out there. Keep putting it out there. The
You draw
universe
it back.
and she answers back, but she has to know that you're sincere and that you're doing it for the right reasons.
And you have to ask your spirit guides for help. We talked about that last night, and I'm really looking forward to getting.
Just finding a sack of money. I mean, maybe you could, but
Yeah.
it's usually very small things.
It wouldn't do me any good because I'd walk the neighborhood looking for the owner.
It's not a material thing. It's not, this is just a human kindness thing, a comfort thing, a basic necessity type thing.
There's no such thing as a small act of kindness. Every act is and the other thing works the other way. You know how we justify things in our head? Well, it's just a pen. It doesn't matter if I take it, The thing is I deal with that. Once I walked, I know people think I'm stupid, but I was at Home Depot once and one of those little sponge brushes, one of those little like 33-cent sponge brushes, got stuck in the cart and I didn't pay for it. The way I looked at it, I saw it. I made the conscious decision. When you're in that spot, you're making the conscious decision to, screw it. It's 33 cents. I'm just going to grab it and go because I needed it. Or do you take it and you walk back and you pay for it? And at that moment, when I'm making that conscious decision, doesn't matter how much it is or how much it is, how little it is. I made that decision, so I had to go back and pay for it. And people go, oh, you're crazy. You know what? I might be crazy as a fox. But when I get on the other side and I'm judging myself, I'm like, I walked that brush back there and I paid for that sucker. Because I figure all the things I didn't understand before.
You don't want to show up at the pearly gates and have St. Peter pull out and say, well,
I ain't riding to hell on a sponge brush.
You owe this place. We're going to send you back to live a few more lifetimes till you've learned a lesson.
Yeah, isn't that funny though? But because I don't think it's the thing, and I don't think it's the cost. I think it's the conscious decision to, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that if I had grabbed it and took it, I couldn't try to make up for it another way. I'm not saying that. I'm saying at that moment, that was my free will choice, and it was conscious. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter if it's a sponge brush or a TV or a car or anything else, It's that moment where you make that conscious decision to do right or do wrong, and it's wrong. And when we start to try to justify it, that's when we start getting entangled. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's where I'm at with that,
Well, it's just 33 cents. They're not going to miss it. There's, if you've ever worked in retail, there's what they call shrink, which is stuff they expect to be stolen or go bad or become broken. And I've even worked places where my coworkers would say, well, they build in employee theft into our wages, so at least take what's owed to you, or you're cheating yourself. I never looked at it that way. Theft is theft. And if you steal from your employer, that's even worse. That's literally biting the hand that feeds you.
Absolutely true. Yeah, and it's corporate's really got to the point where it's the employees. They assume it's it's really gotten ugly. I hope you guys aren't in a corporate mess, but if you are, you know what I mean. It's gotten so impersonal, and that's the way it feels. You feel like a number, So
I'd love to hear your Apport story sometime.
Yes.
The guy that Mariah had on that has the British something society, and they've got pictures and evidence of all the, I can't remember the gentleman's name.
The apporting. It's amazing, and I don't think there's any good or bad to it. I think it's just something that they can do.
It's just inanimate objects can show up in unusual places sometimes. I've found coin.
This is a simple. Salvador's got it. He's got the simplest thing to do. Do what's right. Do it now.
If you know it's right, don't question it. Don't try
Right.
to justify doing something else. Don't try to talk yourself
Mm-hmm.
out of it. Do what you know is right, and you can't go wrong.
Right, because here's the thing, also you got to think about it. Everybody puts everything on, blaming so many things. Well, if you're asking for help, but you're doing dastardly deeds all day, or you're, planting evil seeds and gossiping and getting people to fight because it's just entertaining, and just say you're that kind of person, but then something happens and you ask for help and they go, wait a minute, what? You got a long way to go to get to the point. They might help you out a couple times, but then what's to say that person's not taking that for granted? Oh, I got out of that. Now let me see if I can get out of the next one or the next, At some point in time, you have to take responsibility for your actions, for your thoughts, for the things that you do to others, the way you treat other people, the way you treat yourself. You have to forgive yourself too, and that's the hardest thing, and that's what the dead are dying to tell us. They're saying, let it go, and, love never dies, and we're with you, and, this is school, so we might as well try to learn as much as we can and then pass it along, So Anne is saying something here in caps. So let's pull it up. I'm listening to the chat, fell asleep. It all became a dream, and I was floating around my house during a big last-minute slumber. Oh, great. See, she's flying. She's levitating. We have levitated people tonight, Steve. We're at pouring tea and levitating.
Boosting the signal. We're raising the signal in here.
Just raise up, float. Everybody, we all float down here. How
We've
creepy is that?
I haven't showered in 2 days, so I still had that other place on me. But I got in the shower,
Nice.
and I was thinking of there's an Indigo Girls song.
Piggly Wiggly.
A little bit of the lyrics here. My friends, they wash the windows and they let the sun, and then they shine in the sun. They tell me, wake up early in some morning sometime, see what a beautiful job we done. Go down to the riverside, take off our shoes, and wash these sins away. That was what was in my head. I was washing all that off of me.
There you go. Where's Sandy? Tell her to get the hose and hose you down and give you a good Mexican baptism out there.
I was washing all that off of me symbolically and actually. And it just, I'm a changed man.
Yeah. And I'm so glad to see you. That's it. I was telling Steve this morning. Absolutely, and it is a big. It's Jordan B. Peterson. I know, Piggly Wiggly.
There, Piggly Wiggly, the original. What is it? Self-service. That was the first self-service grocery store. Before, you had to go up to the counter and point to what you wanted, and they'd get all your stuff together.
The $20 meat bundle.
Had the idea to let people get it off the shelves themselves. He trusted people and see it pay for it.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Stealing blind,
Yep.
but it was a new concept, and one that how many grocery stores now are self-service? All
right.
of them.
I mean, when I lived out in rural Alabama, I shopped at the Piggly Wiggly, and I'll tell you what, they had some good meats and stuff like that, and there's nothing wrong with it. And if everybody there was just all nice.
Strange about Piggly Wigglies. If you go on Google and type in Piggly Wiggly and police, you'll get all these things that have gone down at the Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Maybe it's something in the meat. I don't know. Maybe that's why it's so cheap.
Because a lot of times they would put those stores in the worst neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. And, you got to appreciate them for doing that, because otherwise a lot of those people wouldn't have anywhere to shop or would have to travel somewhere. But by it being in the bad neighborhoods, then you get that bad element with it sometimes. And you could probably put in Kmart and get the same results, or Walmart. But there's just something about the Piggly Wiggly out of $20 meat bundle. They had something.
They did, man. And you get a lot for it, too. You could get chicken, pork chops. It was amazing.
People send me pictures of my books. I got one from Florida where there's one of my books in a Target store. And I said, when my books show up in Piggly Wiggly, I'll know I've arrived.
You've arrived.
I go to Piggly Wiggly and do a book signing. And then if Connor's still here, he does this guerrilla book signings where he goes out, he'll take a little card table, he'll set up in front of a bookstore, a comic book shop, whatever. He sits there and signs and sells his books until they figure out he's not supposed to. So the next time I'm around a Piggly Wiggly, and I'll probably be near one when I go to Tennessee for the Dogman Festival. I want to go set up outside the Piggly Wiggly and sign books till they
That'd be
run,
great.
call
That'd
the
be great.
cops, tase
It'll
me.
take them a minute.
So,
I'll tell you real quick, in
it's
Alabama,
a Piggly Wiggly near you.
they had a great Piggly Wiggly. And then somebody bought up, like, always happens in the South, somebody bought up a farm. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's here. There's
Is that somebody went by? Oh, okay.
a airport up here on top of this
It's
Mesa
okay.
airport, and
But they built a great big beautiful Publix with carpeting and the whole thing right across the street from it. About a month later, big old tornado came through, took out all the Publix and everything else, and they're sitting in the middle of it was a Piggly Wiggly untouched. So that ought to tell you something, guys.
plaster closed. You can figure.
So there you go. Steve, I know you want to get out of here, love. I couldn't be more happy for you. And that's what Jordan V. Peterson said. He said, when you want friends,
Love, light kisses to all of you.
you
Let
want
what I
friends that are
went
happy
through
for you.
encourage you and be a testament to you. You're never too old. You're never too far down that you can't get back up. Sometimes it takes a while, and you got to wait. But patience is a virtue, and virtue is its own reward.
Yep.
I'm going to get out of here because I'm going to start preaching in a minute if I don't.
And you also got to help yourself too, and that's a big thing of it. That's a big thing.
It's hard to help yourself. I mean, I was in a situation where I'd let my license expire. I didn't have a car, didn't have a job for several years. And things just started happening slowly. The YouTube channel, that build up.
That's how you helped yourself.
And then just here I am. Now I'm going to be a homeowner. I'm going to have a new nice car, convertible. And
Mulder's happy, which is the most important thing.
Mulder's happy. He's a desert dweller anyway. I lived in the desert for about 8 years when I lived in Las Vegas. I missed it. So,
and you're back now.
Welcome
home.
The rain, but here where we are, we get a lot of rain. I mean, monsoon season, it pours out here. And Edna, I'm so freaking happy too.
It's wonderful.
I want each and every one of you to experience the happiness that I have now.
We love you, darling.
It is infectious. Again, attitudes are contagious. Make sure that yours is worth catching. Keep that in the back of your mind.
Yep.
But yeah,
absolutely. Raleigh Bartlett.
You.
I think this was for you, Steve. It's Craigmont. Raleigh Bartlett graduated from Craigmont. I don't know where that is. Is that out there in Tennessee?
He's talking to
North Carolina?
Sandy's from Asheville originally, so.
Yeah, how about that? But that's it. You said you didn't. It was hard to help yourself. But the thing is you listen to advice. And I wasn't the only one giving it. Where I said use your talents, your trade, and people would love to hear you speak and read your own stories.
Encourage you to narrate.
Every way.
It wouldn't be a 13 past midnight if it wasn't for you. And you even helped me name it. I had a couple ideas. You said that one. That's the one.
13 past midnight.
It was a video that I narrated on there that Bill saw that he brought me over and made me full partner on Missing Persons and Ministries. And here I'm now. Just the other day, we passed 220,000 subscribers.
It's amazing.
So we're doing something right. And I get so many compliments on my voice, which I don't understand. I don't like the way I sound, educated hillbilly. That's what I am. But people like my voice. I say it's calming. It has a good effect on them. A lot of people that listen to me, chronic pain, PTSD, fibromyalgia, insomnia.
Where Piggly Wiggly started, I get it now. Thank you, Eminem. Thank you so much. Wow, that's a trip.
Okay,
Memphis.
yeah, there you go.
It's in Memphis. Yep. How about that? Yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, you say you didn't help yourself, but you did, and then you reached out with your light and your talent. People reached back, and that's how it just boomerangs off. And we're just going to keep doing it, sweetie.
Yep. Keep putting it out there, and it'll come back eventually. But just, again, be careful what you wish for and how you wish for it, because you can manifest things.
You can. You absolutely can. You're living proof of it, honey. So welcome home. Love y'all.
I'm home. The other day I went out on my motorbike and I had the Google Maps turned on, and when I pulled up it said welcome home.
Wow.
And,
I love it.
It's home, and again, when Sandy came pick me up, she said, "You ready to go home?" And it just hit me like a ton of bricks, and I cried like a baby.
Yeah.
Because I haven't had a home. I haven't been anything that's felt like home since my parents passed away. That's almost 20 years. It'll be 20 years next fall. So it means a lot to me. I never thank Sandy and her family enough for taking me.
We all do.
Break and give me the opportunity to purchase this house, and
Yep.
I'll be forever in their debt.
So many people in here saying that you've helped them, you know, and relaxed them, and
Jamie Bailey, you're
stories.
one of the sweetest people on the planet. Sandy and I were talking about you the other night. Out of all the people we've met in all of our travels and stuff, you're one of the best. You're
That's
awesome.
something.
You've got a light in you that shines.
So many people here do, Steve, and that's just it, you know, and that's what grabbed it all together. And then we send it back out. We meet here once a week. We get recharged and get some ideas and talk some fun stories. And then we go back out and work gatekeepers. That's what they are, helping other people along on their journey. And we're helping each other on each one of our journeys and trying to understand and falling down and picking each other up. And
they're
it's
on the other
wonderful.
side of that wrought iron fence, and you can't always squeeze through it. You need a gatekeeper to say, "Come this way, walk over here. There's a gate. I'll open the door for you.
It's
You
wonderful.
can enter right in."
Yep, it's wonderful, man.
But my wish for each and every one of you is that you have what you wish for. That's my wish for you.
That's very nice. That's very nice. And we're glad you're getting this, honey.
Whatever you wish for, I wish for it for you. So,
And true friends really like to see others shine and just get so much elation from seeing them happy. It makes them happy and it's infectious. And we're all happy tnight. And I wish everybody in here
like
that
in that
happiness.
who's vacation, I'm going to have plastic surgery to get the smile off my face.
Why would you want to take
But I
that
don't
off?
want it off my face. You know, it's just.
You
it
keep
feels
that
good.
damn smile right the hell where it is, Steve.
I'm
We love
smiling.
seeing it.
My face hurts, but I love every second.
Well, you go get something to eat, sweetie. I'm going to show these lovely people about a 10-minute ghost story about a monk. And then we're going to get on out of here. And I love you so much. And I love to see you
I love
happy.
each
And
every one of you here. I'm just
hug Sandy for
love
us.
the milk and human kindness right now, and just there's no end inside this. I've found the bottomless well of good things.
Look at this. Steve, you were always a good-looking man, but now you're drop-dead gorgeous. Look at that. See?
Well, thank you.
I love it. I love it. I knew tonight was going to be filled with genuine love and kindness and people that care about each other. And
Yeah.
I hope to let you guys know.
I'm home. I'm here.
Yeah.
This is where I belong.
And you belong right here with us too, sweetie. All of us do. So
This is
let
all-
that be an encouragement for everybody out here that's got an idea. You want a podcast, you want to write a book, you want to write a story, you want to help somebody and work it all in. Do it. Do it now. Start it now.
Right. You
Don't
just-
let anything stop you.
Never too old. Look at Colonel Harlan Sanders. He was already in his 60s.
Yeah.
True.
True.
He was selling Kentucky Fried Chicken out of the trunk of his car. And
It's
that's how
true.
he ended up. So age
Yep.
can't stop you. Circumstances can't stop you. Lack of whatever can't stop you. Do it with what you have, what you can. Beg, ask, borrow. I'm not going to say steal because that's the wrong thing. But it's okay to
You
to
take
beg
that sponge brush back.
or ask people for help. If you need help, ask for it.
That's true. There it is. I love you, darling. You go get you something to eat. Don't forget to eat tonight. Okay?
Johnny,
Eat the
if I
good
could
cookies.
dance, I'd be dancing, but I haven't danced in a long time. So
I'll come dance with you.
it's something
I
embarrassing.
hope we can get together soon because I just got to hug your neck, sweetie. I know you said you're coming to Cape May sometime toward maybe the end of the year next year. Next year?
Yeah, we're going to at some point go up the coast over there. Sandy wants to go back to North Carolina, and
Okay.
come on up. And once you go up the Outer Banks, you're not far from Cape May. Once you get through Virginia, Newport News, and Chesapeake Bay, and all that,
We'll
I've driven
figure it out.
Now I got as far as Cape May and turned around and went the other way, but it'd be nice.
We'll figure it out. It's going to go by so fast. Enjoy the moments, guys. Don't rush through
Salvador,
it.
that's true. Home is in here, but I found the home that was in here the whole time.
Yeah.
Here,
And now you're spreading it
here
out.
with all you people.
Yep. It's wonderful. And I appreciate you introducing me to so many of these wonderful people too.
Yes.
I love you, buddy. Go get something to eat.
Thanks,
Okay?
everybody.
Good
I'll
night.
See
Say good night, Steve.
See you here next Monday. Stuff coming up on missing persons and mysteries. In August, you can see Sandy and myself at the Dog Band Cryptid Convention, Paris, Tennessee, on the 12th and 13th. And then
Great.
again in October at the Pacific Northwest True Crime Festival,
Ooh.
Auburn, Washington, on October 8th and 9th, I think that is. We're both going to be speaking at that one, and we're
Amazing.
talking, missing
Look at
and
all the stuff happening. It's a beautiful thing, man.
It
It's a
is.
beautiful thing. And I can't wait to see where it's going to go. It's like taking off like a rocket, right?
It's sky's the limit, and it's only up from here. Sometimes you've got to hit the bottom before
Hmm.
you can go up.
Yep,
That's like
that's absolutely true.
we jump in the water. If you don't touch bottom, you got to struggle to get out there.
Yep.
But when you hit bottom, you can push off and shoot up. I'm on that upward trajectory right now, and I went way down to the very bottom. I've got a ways to go
Just don't
back up.
forget to breathe and enjoy every moment, baby. You know? And I can't tell you how proud I am to call you my friend and my brother.
Same.
Good night,
I'll-
sweetheart. Have a good one. Good night, Mulder.
Indeed, pray for Kentucky and all those people.
Absolutely. Please do. Please do.
Uh,
Absolutely, guys.
All right.
Absolutely pray for Kentucky. Good
Good
night,
night,
sweetheart.
everybody. Thanks again. I will see you later on. See you a little farther on down the trail. Tell your dog and your cat and whatever pet you have I said hi. Tell your prairie
Absolutely.
dog hello.
Talk to you this week, sweetie. Hang in
All right.
there. You're doing great.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Okay, guys. For anybody that wants to, I had to throw one little ghost story at you just to kind of calm and take us out, because I knew it was going to be an elated conversation. I couldn't be more happy for everybody involved in this, because I'll tell you, you know, it's wonderful when you have friends that encourage you to find your best and do what makes you happy, and encourage you to be creative with whatever your talents may be. Yes, group hugs, Susan, absolutely. And the real thing is what I was saying about Jordan B. Peterson, and I'm going to paraphrase it. I don't want to get it wrong, but I'm going to get it darn close. Was, what do you want out of life? Whatever you want, you go for it. You don't have to do what other people want you to do. You have to do what you think is going to make you happy, and also provide everything you need to survive, what you're doing. And it's okay if you do it and you find out that wasn't it, but that is a milestone that shot you off this way and you found something else. So those things are going to happen in life. So don't be afraid to go for it. Don't be afraid to go for it and go, okay, that really wasn't what I wanted. Maybe you just need to revamp it and change it and make it your own. Or maybe it's like I said, that stepping stone that's taking you across, that great river of life you're trying to get through to the other side, whatever the other side may be. But it takes you places. So don't ever be upset that you chose a job that really wasn't what you wanted. The point is you figured out it's not what you wanted and you're changing it. You don't stay in it. If you have to, get a smaller place, or you have to move, or you have to change your living situation, or whatever it may be to get that, do it. Don't sit in a place and stay somewhere where you're not happy. Or if you have to stay at a place, make it a place that you can be happy within yourself. Find something there that helps you escape that. And helping other people and putting light out there, it's one of the fastest tracks, because all that light is actually drawn to you. So Jordan B. Peterson put it like this. He says, also, when you choose your friends, what is a friend? And he said that a friend is someone who is genuinely celebrates your accomplishments and is happy for you and so excited for you, and not secretly jealous, not secretly, why couldn't that happen for me? Why can't I have that? Why does he always get that or she always get that? You're genuinely happy and you celebrate with them. But friends are also people that, are sad with you too, and genuinely want to help you when you're falling down, and are there to help pick you back up. But the thing about it was, man, when he said that about being genuinely happy for someone and so excited to see them flourish and them accomplish something, that's when you've got a real friend, and Steve has so many of those, and so many people in here do. And so many wonderful channels and so many wonderful connections and so much talent and, trade and artisans and, just so many wonderful people in this community. I hear all the time. Oh, and the paranormal community is this and this and that and that. You know what? You're not seeing what I'm seeing. I see all the BS, but I'll pass that, and go right to the heart and to the meat of things. We can see that at this time. We can see that. We can also see the people that are struggling with abilities and just don't know quite what to do with them. How many empaths I talk to that say, I can't be at work anymore because it just drains me so much. I'm like, honey, that's not even your feelings. You're picking up everybody else's. You have to find your base. What's you? What's really you? And once you get to know you and you learn how to push all that off and put protection on, whatever that may be, you're protecting light, and however you may choose to do that, whether it's meditation or grounding or gosh knows all the different things we talk about, maybe all a combination of all those things, then you know how to be the light in a dark place and to thrive, because nothing can touch you. Nothing can touch you, not people, not their shenanigans, not their BS, not their contrived manipulations, not their misery, because misery loves company. Boy, if that isn't true, I don't know what is. Think about that. And how many of you single guys out there, all these men are going, you need to get married too. Not that that's misery, but it's just an old joke. But you know what I mean? If you've got somebody they're underachieving and they're miserable, they're just going to be angry when you accomplish something or one of your dreams comes true. And those are the people you got to look out for. And if you're in, say, a relationship with that person, or if there's somebody in your family like that, there's a lot of people in my family like that, and I'm speaking from experience when I tell you that you can still shine. Don't you dare let people put your light out. Don't you dare let them tell you that, this or you're crazy for believing in this and, something that you truly believe in, that you've studied like I have with certain herbs and things. And now 25, 30 years later, they're coming back and go, I should have listened. And it does not make my heart happy to hear that. At one point of it, I'm getting a validation. You were correct. I should have listened to you. And then I think about 25, 30 years of pain that they've gone through and things that cannot be fixed at this point. And I'm not happy for that. And it's usually people that you love the most that won't listen. And that goes with herbs. That might go with ghosts. It might go with the afterlife. It might go with angels are for everybody. Don't let people tell you that, it's, religion and you're not following all these rules, so you can't have it. It's all yours. The light, the spirit guides, the angels, the help, the source, the protection, the love. Don't let anybody take that from you. That's yours. That's your light, your divine spark, and nobody, not even you, can separate yourself from it. There might be times where you can't see it. There might be times that earthbounds are stuck in the in-between and looking down and can't see it. But like Lynn said to me last night, and we talked about last night, sometimes you just got to get in there and get them to look up. And automatically that golden thread of light that's part of you and part back into that all connected source and love, it's right back again. It's right back again. And that's one of the hardest things when you go on a battlefield. And like I have in Gettysburg and many other. And that's the hardest thing, is to get them to understand your intent. You're here to help. And then have them remember what that love is. Because they were just 2 seconds ago, they were in a battle, even though to us it was 157 years ago. To remember that love, that camaraderie with a brother standing next to me, or the loved ones they left behind, if they had loved ones. Some of them were orphans and stuff too. You can't assume anything. Did they ever know what love felt like? And it's usually that helps them. But and sometimes that light will hide, and sometimes it'll dull somewhat. But it just takes that recognition and your knowledge to know that it's yours and nobody can steal that from you. and boom, it's bright again. So keep your lights bright, keep your big fat candles lit, eat the good cookie, and yes, they're chocolate filled. Pepperidge Farm, very good, and treat yourself lovely. Treat yourself nice. You know, if it's a special color you like, or pajamas that make you feel good, or a bubble bath, or a perfume, or whatever it may be, and you can obtain it, a happy song, playing the guitar, listening to something, dancing barefoot in the kitchen, whatever it takes, the flowers, giving flowers to a neighbor, opening the door at the Wawa, even though they tried to kill you and hit your car trying to get a parking spot, but you open the door for that person. Wow, right? And keep the sage burning too. Absolutely, Ted. So I've got a quick 10-minute. I thought it was really cool. I loved this, the whole aspect of it. It's about a monk. And I pulled it for a couple reasons. One, people say all the time, we touched on a little bit last night. I touched on it with Rob Guttrow and with Claire Broad and a couple of other mediums. People always say to me, how long does a ghost last? Well, and music is spiritual. That's right, Amy. I can't answer that. But I can tell you that I've talked, again, with people wiser than I'll ever be. Look at Dan, who goes out in the Superstition Mountains and looks for missing people and has done it for many years, and talks with ghosts and things out there. He's got EVPs that were intelligent answers. So in real time, intelligent answers to the questions he was asking. It took him almost 3-4 months to find out what language it was in. Found out it was an ancient language of people that had stayed in those caves. And once they got it translated, they were actually answering his questions in their language, but understood him. Amazing. Rob Guttrow, when he went to England, bumped into a monk in one of the churches there, had been there almost 1,000 years. He was punishing himself. He was talking to Rob. He was ashamed of something he had done. He was partially responsible for a murder of a friend. And he understood what he was doing. He was not ready to cross because he was doing self-imposed penance, is what he told him. So there you go. That kind of squashes, how long can a ghost last. So I don't think they dissipate over time unless that's what they want to do. I don't think, that's one that I don't have a definite answer on, but I have more evidence to relate, to the belief that they could stay around for a really long time and not just be an echo or an image, an imprint, an actual intelligent haunting. So this one kind of touches on that because it was around a while. And I thought the witnesses, two young gentlemen, were very spot on, and I really liked. So pay attention to the way they described what they saw, as far as they could see the monk's legs as he walked, pushing the cloth of the robe he was wearing. So, but they couldn't see the feet. So it's amazing. It's like a partial manifest. But let's listen to this, and at least it'll give us a nice little ghost story on the way out, okay? And for everybody leaving, but Blue, I love you, baby. Go get some rest, and thank you so much for being here. And oh gosh, I forgot your pictures again. So I'm gonna write a note. Blue sent me some pictures from the convention, and I'm so sorry, honey. I get scrambled sometimes, and I have notes, and then I leave them in the wrong room, and so it doesn't work if you write notes and you don't look at them. But I'm working on it. But we will get those pictures up. They were terrific, and it was lovely seeing your smiling face. So here's a little ghost story for everybody. Hope you like it. And good night to everybody that's got to go. I love you all.
Battle Abbey in Sussex, built on the site of the Battle of Hastings, one of the bloodiest ever fought on British soil. A likely place, you would think, for paranormal activity. Recently, the ghostly figure of a monk has been seen amongst the ruins. Is the abbey haunted, or is it all just a hoax?
My name's Darryl Birchmore and I'm Deputy Head Custodian here at Battle Abbey, working for English Heritage. Battle Abbey was founded in 1070 on the spot where the Battle of Hastings was fought in 1066. It was finally completed in 1094 and consecrated in the presence of William Rufus. We've had lots of legends connected with Battle Abbey over the years, the most famous being the curse, which was lifted in 1933. That was a curse that was placed on the family of Anthony Browne by one of the monks who deemed it unfair that Anthony Browne had been awarded the abbey and all its grounds, and the monks have been basically evicted from the site. Since 1990, which has been my time at Battle Abbey, I've heard a number of ghost stories here, mainly involving police officers who have been doing nighttime stakeouts, trying to catch vandalism in the act and what have you, and they've seen monks.
There have been no monks at Battle Abbey since the 16th century. But recently, at least 2 witnesses have come forward claiming to have seen a figure dressed in a monk's habit.
Earlier this year, June 2002, we had a school party on site. Nothing unusual in that. We have loads of school parties, but this particular one, it was Sutton Valence School from Maidstone in Kent, and one of the teachers and 2 of her class actually witnessed a monk outside the Undercroft.
It was about 11 o'clock because we had arrived there, we had walked around the battlefield, and then we'd walked around the Abbey ruins, and we were then trailing back in groups to the shop before we settled down for our packed lunch. It was a very, very short time we saw him for. We were walking straight ahead and he was to our right, and he was walking towards us and then turned into a doorway. So he would have taken maybe 10 paces that we saw. And you know, I would have thought I'd had too much wine the night before, I think, if it hadn't been the fact that 2 children saw him with me.
He was wearing a white robe and had a bald patch on the top of his head, and well, he had grey hair.
He looked really real because at the bottom of his robes you could see where his legs were touching it when he walked.
His robes did move, they flowed, and they were so clean. They were just, he was immaculate, really.
Actors do dress in period costume at the Abbey, but never as monks. At the same spot 12 years earlier, Darryl had also witnessed an unusual event.
During the summer of 1990, I was doing a lock-up for the evening. It was around about 6 o'clock in the evening. The only people I could see were out on the far battlefield. Walked through the chambers, which were a series of wine cellars. No one around at all. And I came out, locked the inner door, and then the outer shutters. And suddenly there was a banging from inside, real banging, as if someone was trapped inside. I opened up the door, no one there. So I locked up again, ran back to the shop. My colleague, who was deeply religious, looked at me, said, "You're joking." And then he saw me again, he says, "You're not joking, are you?" He came back with me, checked the place over, no one around. And later that night, he and another colleague went into the same chambers with a divining rod, and it kept pointing to a particular corner.
Jill found out that the monk had also been seen there before. Over 20 years earlier, an Abbey maintenance man had been working at that same spot.
There was a hole dug in there once, wasn't there? And a workman was down the hole, and he looked up and the monk was leaning over the side. I believe, this is what they told me. And the workman completely freaked out and ran away.
Now, what makes that interesting is that was on the Saxon line of defence, where most of the bloodshed happened on the Battle of Hastings.
I have heard since that he's been seen there, since we saw him, and many times before.
The teacher came back to the shop and reported to one of my colleagues, who then reported it to me, that she'd witnessed a monk in the presence of 2 of her children. And what sticks in my mind about this was the fact that she said the monk looked humanoid, not transparent at all. And she actually asked whether anyone was doing guided tours or anything in monk costume. which of course we replied in the negative.
A lot of reports are of monks and nuns, often in contemplation, often walking in rows towards their old cloisters or in their cloisters, often chanting and so on. And I think that's actually fairly consistent.
The last monk left the abbey over 400 years ago, and no staff have ever dressed as monks. So just what was this mysterious figure? Only a few weeks later it was seen again. The Rudge family from Wakefield in Yorkshire stopped off at the abbey on the way back from a trip to France.
We arrived at Battle Abbey mid-morning. We went through the gift shop and out onto the courtyard just in front of the school. We went to the right and followed the designated
Hey guys, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I cut that off. She was saying they followed the designated trail, and that's where she saw him. Now, when she saw him, she couldn't even see through him. He just came up like a solid, you know. So again, that tells us there's really no hard and fast rule of how a ghost can manifest. I had somebody a couple weeks ago, wrote me, it was a DM, we were talking, and they said, well, I don't think it was a ghost because I could see they were solid. I couldn't see through them. And I'm like, no. It just depends on how they can manifest. It just depends. And they can manifest one way one time and another way another. Quick story on that. Just to give you an example, and then we'll go on out of here. And it's been a wonderful chat, full of love, and I'm so glad that Steve got to feel all that, and you guys did too. And I hope it, in some way, maybe motivates you to go after that thing that you want, you know, and reach out to other people that might be like-minded or something along those lines. But absolutely go for it, you know. And if you fail, you know. It's only people who never try fail. You know, when you fail and you get back up and you learn something, you try it different the next, that's life. You know, it's the people who never try and never try to do anything, you know, as crazy as it sounds, you know. We've seen a lot. Pet Rock, you know. I mean, it's not a great thing that changed the world, but everybody that said it was stupid, and he did it anyway. He made $2 million and bought everybody that invested a car, and he still had enough to do his dream. So you never know what's going to happen. Nowadays, we're looking a little bit more towards, you know, natural things, and like the old ways and stuff like that are starting to come back. You know, so we need that kind of wisdom. So reach out, teach somebody how to can, teach somebody how to garden, teach your grandkids how to garden, plant a seed, plant, you know, whatever. They used to teach that stuff in school and home ec and things like that. They don't do that anymore. So pass along a little of that wisdom too, and that's doing something. So never belittle the things that you do, because these acts are important. But anyway, here's the story. So this guy goes and stays at a bed and breakfast that was like, you know, a redone. So it had a little museum thing going on. Wait a second, let me catch this real quick. Hi, Cisco. I think that you would like Chingle Hall. Let me see, hang on. 5 or 6, I was there 5 or 6 times in the 90s, was active, but a wonderful place. I don't know about that. Where is that, sweetie? Sebastian? Oh, and Sebastian said that last night that he's got the books and he's going to see if the chapters compare. Back on our Amityville, we were talking about how one book might be different, so we look forward to that too, Sebastian. Thank you so much. So this guy, he goes into this like a bed and breakfast, but just imagine like it's also renovated as almost like a small museum. So he goes into the room, and he's woken up about 2 a.m. or so by some rustling and things in the closet. And out of the closet comes a ghost that he could see, a man. He could see his face clearly, the way he described it, whether it was a mustache and a beard or whatever, the way he could see everything. But from about the neck down, it started to dissipate where he could see more, see through it, right? No bottom part of his body, but he could tell that there was something there from the shoulders down, and it just kind of faded away. Very much like the young man here said that you could see his legs moving the material, but, the other guy said he didn't have any feet at one point in time. So this guy is startled, and of course, and he screams, and he sits up in bed, and he's like, ah, and he throws out that first reaction of fear and everything else, and he said that the guy's face, he just smiled and got closer, and he pulls the covers up over his head, it kind of falls down, and it shocked me because it was very much like when, that head came flying at me when I was a kid. I just fell backwards, and it just kind of floated over me and disappeared into the wall above me. It was crazy. So the guy somehow falls asleep. I don't know why people fall asleep after that. It must be some kind of an energy pull that makes you just really tired. I'm kind of working on that theory, but I think it's something like that, because you figure, how could anybody fall asleep after that, right? So he does fall asleep, and about 10, 15, 20 minutes later, he's woken up again from a scream from the other room. Now, here comes the caveat. He stays. How I don't know. But he goes downstairs, and he's acting a little funny, when he goes down to check out of the room, and he's talking to the guy behind the counter, the manager, whatever, desk clerk. And he's talking to him, and he goes, well, how was your stay? Did you enjoy your stay? And all that. And he's thinking about not saying anything. But he does. And he says, well, did you sleep okay? You're kind of hesitant. And he says, well, I had a little problem. He says, I think I had a ghost in my room. And he said, really? And he's, still writing. And he goes, well, do you know what the ghosts look like? And he described to him. And the guy was kind of okay. He said, if you don't think I'm crazy, you're not the only one that's seen it. Did he look anything like this? And he grabs an album from underneath the desk or right there in the office or something. He opens it up. He said, did he look like that? And the guy went, oh, yes, that's him. And he goes, well, this is the guy that built the house, and we believe that he haunts the place, and he doesn't really hurt anybody. He just kind of goes around and scares people. Well, as they're talking about it, another guest is coming down the stairs, another businessman, and he's kind of walking over the desk. He kind of hears a little bit of what they're talking about. He goes, wait a minute, are you guys talking about this place is haunted? Because I saw something last night. He goes, well, what did you see? And he says, I saw a man in my room. And he goes, well, we're kind of looking at, do you look anything like this? And the guy says, yes, exactly like that. And they fill him in. And as they're talking, they realize the first guy saw him from the head and about shoulders. But the next guy saw him full body apparition, not head and shoulders, the whole guy standing by his bed. That made me think, what if the first guy got scared, this ghost got more energy from that fear and that kind of, that energy that he was putting out, enough to go back in and scare the next guy as a full apparition. Just a theory, something I'm putting out there. So if you guys hear something like that, you can come back and tell me, because I think that's a fascinating story. And each little story like this, we're learning another little piece of the puzzle, another little piece to make the picture more understandable. And you know what I'm also finding out, guys? The picture of the cover of the box of this puzzle is so much more vast than we could ever imagine. But it's also more simplistic and so much more beautiful. So that's what I mean when I do this podcast. I want to try to help everybody remember the wonder of it all. And I don't want you to miss it, because so many people just get, off the one guy. And it's how much is enough, it's like, how much was that guy scared, how much does it need? We don't know. And each one might be different, but I think it's a working theory, but I've heard other stories similar, but that one right after the next, it's a trip. So, again, it's just another little piece of the puzzle, and we're just going to hold it until it fits somewhere and see. And last night we got a lot of validation, and it was such a lovely show, and we're going to have her back so she can get more detailed about everything. She's got wonderful books, and I highly recommend at least going on Lynn Monet's website and looking at the books, reading, the descriptions of the books and everything else, because she's really run the gauntlet on this. And, one thing you're going to learn from Lynn is sometimes you got to walk in the darkness a little bit to appreciate the light. And some of us with abilities have gone through an awful lot to get where we are. And, so if you've walked in the darkness and you know how precious the light is, you get it. And, I think it's wonderful. And it's even wonderful if you can appreciate it without going through all that. So that's what I wish for you. Tonight has been a real inspirational show for some really, really dear friends, and I hope it's inspirational for you too. So go out there and spread that light, and start with you, right? Start with you. Don't forget to take care of you. I love you all. We're going to get out of here. Good night, everybody. See you next week. Donnie and I are working on, it's going to take some time, but we are working on the Lincoln conspiracy. And, I think it's really important for these times too. I don't know how much y'all know about Lincoln, but I'm really discovering the deeper I dig on the man himself, the more I respect him, and the more I respect what he tried to do. Hello, Griffin. Welcome in. And, I think it's real important to remember some of those words, and also about, how much he enjoyed having other people around him to debate him. But I think he underestimated the evil that men do, and how much was conspiring against him, to not let him have those things, to not let him be kind, after the war, and help. They wanted to make money. So, boy, money, the root of all evil, right? Greed. So it's not the first one it's happened to. Probably won't be the last. But we lost a lot of good people, so it's important to remember them and understand a little bit about that whole conspiracy and what went on. There's a lot of interesting facts in there. So Donnie and I are going to do our best to bring that to you. I'm going to bring Lynn back. I'm working on some other things, and we are going to go to Gettysburg. If you're there, come give me a hug. It's an amazing place to be. Wonderful, talented people in every part of the paranormal you can imagine. Paranormal groups to people with experiences all the way through. And it's a wonderful place, and it's a wonderful reason to go. They always talk about, you get on the elevators or whatever, people don't know what's going on. It's like all the scary people in the dark shirts, and, it's like, yeah, lady. If you ever had trouble, those scary people in the dark shirts will be the first ones there to help you. So, that's kind of the way it is. We take that for granted, but it's the truth. I love you all. Everybody, make good choices. Keep your feet under the covers, your closet door shut, because there are things that go bump in the night. I love you all. Keep your lights on. All right, we are out of here for tonight. Thank you for joining us. I love you all. You guys are the whole reason. And listen, Lynn could not get over the energy in this. Every guest that I have on just absolutely loves this chat. And I said it's a special place to be, man. And it's all about them and the listeners. And that's the truth. Good night, everybody.